right, we got Matthew Cox back in here. Thank you for making the trip down. What, Matt? What now?
Nothing's awesome. Thank you.
So what's new?
I mean, nothing.
Other than you being back with your girl.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's, who knows how long that'll last.
I told you they were going to get back. Remember I told you that they broke up?
Oh, bro, it was all brokenhearted. It was pathetic.
And how many views did he get on that video?
What on my? I did a video yeah.
About your heart broke and everything.
I don't know how many it got.
But remember you were telling me it was really one of the most popular ones at the time.
Oh, it did pretty well for a few days. Yeah, it's still, I don't know what it got, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 views, something like that. It doesn't,
And who told you on the phone when I was on the treadmill that you would be back with her? Who told you?
Everybody told me that it wasn't over.
Yeah,
everybody.
Forget them. But who told you? Who told you?
You said, "Don't worry, she'll come back around."
Did you just admit for once that I was right about something?
you were right. But listen, the fact of the matter is, to be honest, you looked at me and you knew, come on, bro, she's going to come back. Look at you. You're amazing. So, and I get it. I told her that when she came back. I said, look, let's face it, you're fighting. You're fighting this. There's an overwhelming attraction. You can't fight. I know that. And
Hey, Rob, did your balls just drop? He admitted that I was right about something for once. This is the first time in a couple of years.
Matt, say it again. Was Tommy right?
Tommy was right, as well were many other people.
He just can't fucking say, Tommy, you were right.
You were right, Tommy. You were right.
There it is.
Listen. 2 weweeks from now, she might show back up. She does this every month or every 2 or 3 months. It's not going to work. I don't think it's going to happen. And then I did the video about her. She got all upset about the video.
I think it's gonna.
People hate me.
I think it's gonna be like quarterly taxes, right? So like every time you got to pay quarterly taxes, she'll be gone and then she'll be back.
She comes and goes.
But then you have a video to make every 3 months, right? All right. So when you were doing all the fraud stuff, and then you were in jail. One of the people that had come to the jail was Dateline. And you went on Dateline and were interviewed by Keith Morrison, who everybody loves Keith Morrison except for you.
That's the guy with the gray hair, white hair.
Pull that up with Keith Morrison.
He is a legend. I love his voice. It's like your grandfather reading a storybook to you at bedtime.
He was.
So what was the problem with Keith Morrison on Dateline?
The whole thing was just manipulative. He kept asking the questions over and over again.
What the same?
That's him.
That's him right there.
That's him.
Yeah, that's our boy right there. Wow, I love him.
How can you hate him? He looks like an old grandpa who's going to read you.
He's
real nice guy.
You know what's funny is he talks like that, like in person.
That's
and I started laughing. Like as soon as he started talking, I go, "Oh my God!" I go, "You really sound like that. You really talk." I thought it was like a shtick. I thought you were just playing a part.
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, this is." And I look over at the camera guys are laughing because I was laughing. So, yeah, he just, he went on. They had an agenda, and the agenda was that I was a womanizer that was getting women to fall in love with me. Like I was a Don Juan getting women to fall in love with me and then forcing them to commit fraud. Then I'd take the money and leave. It's like, come on, bro.
That's how they portrayed it to be.
Of course. They'd already done an episode with one of the chicks that got caught that I'd been dating. So that was her whole thing, was like, I was in love with them and I didn't want to commit fraud, but it seemed like I had to. And it was like, oh, what? So then when they came to interview me, I got caught after the program aired, the first one. So they come back and they say, we'd like to interview him and then splice it together with what we already have, because now we get 2 1-hour specials just for another interview.
Oh, so they broke yours into 2.
Right. So there was one with her and then there's one with me. So then but mine is based on hers. Like they already have the story they're sticking with. Look, not that I'm not saying I'm not a scumbag. I'm absolutely a scumbag. But it's like saying, do you have to make it worse? Like, they had to put a spin on it. You can't say, hey, this guy's going around defrauding banks. Like, that's like, no big deal. But they said, no, wait, how can we make it worse? Let's say that he's he's luring these women in, and he's a Don Juan, and he's convincing them to commit fraud. Bro, I'm 5'6". I was 5'6" and about 20 pounds overweight, soft as cotton, not a Don Juan. I mean, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Can't you just go with what happened? So he keeps asking the questions over and over again.
Like the same question?
Yeah, he would go like that. And I didn't realize, I don't know what editing is. I don't realize how they can cut it up. So this is in 2007. So I'm sitting there, and he's like, "You hurt a lot of people." And I went, "Well, no, I didn't hurt anyone." And he goes, I mean, I financially inconvenienced some people. Like there were people that ended up having to went out and got an attorney because I rented their house and borrowed money on their house, and the property was being foreclosed on. So they got an attorney, and the attorney contacted the bank and explained that there was a identity theft, or that it was, whatever the situation was. And I was like, so I didn't hurt anybody physically. And he goes, "You hurt a lot of people." And I went, "Bro, I didn't hurt anybody." And he goes, "You hurt a lot of people." And I go, "You seem to be," and so now I'm irritated. I go, "You seem to be hung up on the word hurt." So yeah, I hurt a lot of people.
You said that back to him.
Right. So now when it comes out, it's one take. "You hurt a lot of people." And I go, "Yeah, I hurt a lot of people."
But did they put that? They put that in?
Of course, that's what they put in. So I look like a psychopath. I'm like, I mean, and this was constantly he would say something, and I would respond, and then he'd say it a little bit differently. I'd respond. He'd say it a little bit different. I'd respond. They'd clip it together so that he'd say something, and you'd see me laugh when I didn't laugh. They'd clip back to him making a face, and then they'd have my response, which wasn't even the response to the same question, which came off extremely arrogant and rude. Not that I'm not arrogant and rude.
Right.
I don't have a problem if you say, "You're an arrogant, rude narcissist, and I'm behaving in that way," if that's what really happened. And that happens all the time. I'll give you enough material to bury me. But he came in with an agenda, and everybody, and it's like, oh, he's a journalist. This guy had a story he wanted to place me into.
So now what? Did he have a pen and paper there?
No.
No. What did he have a prompt?
No, he had nothing. He's just asking me. He had some notes, but we were sitting in the chapel of the Atlanta City Detention Center, and I was in the Marshall holdover because you can't get cameras into a federal prison. I wasn't in federal custody, I wasn't in the Bureau of Prisons custody yet. I was in the Marshall's holdover. The Marshal will let cameras in, so he was able to come in and with a bunch of video people and video me.
Yeah, type in see if you can find his Dateline. We had him up before we started, but
yeah, you can see the.
Do you remember the name? Oh, it's right there actually.
Right, yeah, but
by the book.
No,
that's not it.
Well, no, that may be it.
Keith Morrison.
Yeah,
right.
By Keith Morrison.
But he.
Let's see what they said. Did you ever read this?
Oh, I've read it. It's horrible.
What's it say, Rob?
This is probably what aired on TV, so this will probably be the whole story and with the
yeah, just a
right.
little bit
But you can't watch the video for some reason. I've tried to get the video and I can't find it on the internet. I have the American Greed I was on that I can find.
Yeah. Not I haven't seen this one. I'd love to see this one. I got to find it.
This is worse than American Greed.
I think they doesn't Dateline have now on one of the streaming services?
Yeah, they're on Hulu.
Peacock.
Yeah.
You can probably watch it on there.
Yeah, so it's called Fraud by the Book.
I'd love to see it. I saw it one time in the Marshall's holdover with 75 or 100 other guys.
Yeah.
And they're all sitting around me and they're watching it, and it's just
Yeah, so anybody watching this, if you can find it, put it in the comments. I'll try to find it too.
It doesn't even look like him. That's him?
Well,
yeah,
I've had multiple plastic surgery. I've had my nose job. I had hair implants. I've had liposuction. I had a mini facelift. So
we'll go to his America Most Wanted picture. So now how long were you on America's Most Wanted?
Look at my nose there. Look how round it is. I mean, all the pictures it's round, and now it's not round.
Rob, I had texted you the one of the America's Most Wanted, that one right there.
Right. That's not America's Most Wanted. I mean, it's just a wanted poster.
One. Oh, that's not.
It's a Secret Service wanted posted. Yeah.
Okay. So now, how long was that type of poster up and around and all over the place.
About 2-3 years.
Wow, really?
2.5 years.
And Rebecca, right? Holt, that was the other one? That was the girl.
Hauk.
Hauk.
Rebecca Hauk.
And when you did Keith Morrison, it was her and then you. So
Right.
they got her whining and crying.
Yeah.
Then they bring you in, and they already have their mind made up of who you are and what you did.
Right. Which, of course, law enforcement, nobody's helping me out. Not that there's any reason to help me out. I mean, I'm committing crime. But I'm saying, in general, it's like, you rob a bank, and instead of saying, you walk up and you say, give me all the money. And it's like, okay, then law enforcement shows up. And law enforcement talks to everybody, and then they come out and they do a press release, and they say, he threatened to kill the person. He threatened multiple, people. He terrified everyone. It's like, bro, nobody even knew I was in the bank. I walked up. I said, give me all the money. They gave me the money. I walked out. None of the customers knew anything. But by the time they get done with it, it's 10 times as bad. And you're like, whoa, look, I'm not saying I didn't rob the bank. I'm saying, why are you now lying?
Yeah.
Why are you embellishing on what happened? Like, what I did is bad enough. It's never, and the punishments are outrageous. I got 26 years. 26 years for filling out some paperwork. I mean, I'm not saying I shouldn't have gone to prison. I'm not saying I shouldn't have got a lot of time and that I'm innocent, but 26 years?
Yeah, it's a little aggressive.
Bro, didn't you see some guy the other day that fucking killed, Rob was talking about some guy that fucking killed a guy, chopped them up, set them on fire, and fucking
30 to possible 60, but he could be out by 30.
So he
chopped up his dad and threw him in a fire.
So we got 30 to 60. He'll get good time.
Yeah.
So and that was state, Rob?
Yeah, that's Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, that's state. That's not.
State.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania State. Yeah. Okay. So
they have. Pennsylvania has
parole.
What? Parole.
Yeah. See if you can pull that up just to make.
Let me find it real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead. So so in Pennsylvania, if he got 30 to 60, he'll get good time. It all depends. It could be it depends on like how many classes you take and whatever. And then he'll go in front at the 30-year mark, maybe even the 28-year mark. He'll go in front of the parole board, and there'll be like 3 people, and they'll ask questions like, why should we let you back out? What have you done to change? They'll look at the classes he's taken, and he could possibly get out in 28 years.
There it is. Man pleads guilty in dad slaying dismemberment.
Wow.
William Morse, 30 years. Oh, I thought he's older than he's 30 only, so he's a few years younger. Where does it say 30 to 60? I saw it.
Yeah, so he goes and kills somebody, and he's got a shot at getting out in probably 28.
Oh, in Florida, there's people getting they're premeditated murder, and they're getting 15 and 20 years.
Back up, Rob. Right there it says it. It says what's his name? Val sentenced Morse to agreed upon a sentence between 30 and 60 years in prison.
No, 30 and 60. What are you talking
Well, I'm looking down at the bottom.
No, up here it's 20 to 40 years.
Jeez, that's even worse. 20 to 40 years on a murder charge to be
plus-
followed. Yeah, that's where this.
Oh, an additional 10 to 20.
Right. So if you read down, he got 30 to 60
Oh, okay.
with an $80,000 fine. That's that. And then Rob, if you look down a little bit, the judge was Va right there. And he got 30 to 60 years in prison with an 80. He only got $80,000 in restitution. And he got 562 days time served.
Chopped up his dad and threw him in a campfire.
So now, to your comparison, which makes a lot of fucking sense, this guy chops his dad up and whacks him out. He could get out in 28 years, 27 years. You did a little bit more than sign paperwork, but the comparison is apples to oranges.
Well, there's actually that seems like a reasonable sentence for murder, like to me. But I mean, I know guys who we're talking about they get like 15 years, 20 years.
No,
it's premeditated murder.
Right.
I mean,
so like I agree with you. It's a reasonable sentence to murder, but compared to what they gave you.
Oh yeah, it's
with
out.
your 26 versus this guy who chopped his dad up and killed him.
I shouldn't have gotten. Yeah, 26 is outrageous.
What do you think you should have got?
I honestly think I probably should have got about 10 years.
That's what I think too.
I
think 10.
I
10
think,
with the restitution.
Yeah, 10 restitution, and then I have with gain time, with a year off the job. I could have been out in 7.
Yeah, halfway house for a year maybe.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But that's not what happened. You don't get to pick your sentence, and that's not what happened.
Is what it is. But just the comparison of how interesting the guidelines are that a guy chops up his dad and puts him in a trash can, and a guy
The
just
violent
rips
crimes.
everybody off to the end of the day and plays with the feds while he's on the run too.
Didn't rip. Who did I rip off?
Well, if you buy 2 houses that
I ripped off a bunch of banks.
okay.
I mean,
everybody's-
it's, you say people immediately think of some 90-year-old retired woman
Well,
like
you
I
could
stole her
think-
per pin. That's just what
well,
that's
you know,
what people
you-
think.
You know, you can thank for that.
Bernie
American
Madoff.
greed.
Oh yeah. But
They buried you. And I said this on the other podcast. It was real fucked up how they did that because I know you and I know how you talk about your son and some other things. And that American greed on that one, they portrayed it like you made Rebecca leave her child.
oh yeah.
I mean, there was a good 5 minutes just about you making her leave. And then they would go back to like something that you did. Then back to
Yeah.
her crying about the kid. Yeah,
well, the whole purpose of that program is to just bash the living crap out of it.
Right.
And it's hard to defend yourself because like I've said this before. It's like if I stand up and say this didn't happen and that didn't happen, that's not true. You're arguing like it's the equivalent of saying I didn't rob 14 banks. I only robbed 12.
Yeah.
Okay, well you're still a scumbag.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter. Like it's like. It's just you're splitting hairs. It's just stupid. It's just there's no point to it.
Seriously, after I watched that American Greed, I don't think I've watched it since. It bothers me because of the edit. So now when I watch another American Greed, I know that they did the same thing to that person that they did to you. So it just turns me off.
Yeah. Well,
I still like Keith Morrison though. He's still
Keith Morrison's the man. I'd say it.
sorry, man.
But they do it for ratings. I mean,
Yeah.
if they're not,
what makes it okay?
I'm not saying it's right at all. But that's
Yeah.
why they're doing
It's like saying I robbed banks. Why? I needed the money.
it.
Oh, that makes it okay.
The story's not good enough if it.
You needed money.
You don't make
You
an
needed
old lady cry. It's not good. You don't
Right.
make a kid cry. It's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah. At the very end, Keith Morris said, and he hates old people's children, and he's mean to animals. Small animals.
fuck?
No.
Oh,
I was saying.
for a second, I was
It's
like,
like
we gotta. I'm gonna search Dan. You know who could find it? We know our little friend over there, a nutcase. My nutcase friend of mine can find, and he is a nutcase. Now, when you did Dateline, you got time off for doing that interview.
Mm-hmm.
How much time did they give you off?
Well, for Dateline and American Greed and for writing the ethics and fraud program, I got 7 years off my sentence.
Oh, so they combined all three, and then you.
Well, they didn't want to give me anything at all, so
Well,
we had to.
I imagine.
Frank, I had to have Frank Amadeo filed a 2255, and eventually I got back in front of the judge and argued, and he knocked off 7 years. So.
And for someone who doesn't know what a 2255
Oh yeah, it's a motion where you're saying you were ineffectively represented by counsel. So your counselor was just ineffective. Like they didn't help me in any way.
right.
Is what and technically, I didn't give my probation. I mean my public defender much to work with.
Yeah.
And the argument was really like, you told me to plead guilty and to do all of these things, and you said that those things would result in a sentence reduction, but you didn't understand the law because I couldn't force them to do that, and those things don't actually qualify me for a sentence reduction. So my argument was that she didn't understand the law.
Right.
And she was being lied to by the U.S. attorney who was saying, we will do it. And then they turned around, they said they wouldn't. And then when you turn around, you go to the law and you say, okay, well, fine, then we're going to file this because the law says this. Oh, no, guess what? It doesn't say that.
So when you went into court, what were you thinking you were going to get? Like, did you think you were going to get
10 to 12 years. In between 10 and 12 years. Is what
So
I was
sitting
thinking.
there in that chair before he pounds that thing, you're thinking 10 to 12,
Yeah.
and you end up here in 26.
Yeah.
That must have been a nice.
Oh, listen,
walk.
I mean, never saw, and it was so funny is that there were guys in the unit that, the guys in the, in the marshal's holdover in the unit I was being held in, I got my PSI, and they're like, bro, you realize your PSI says this. And I'm like, right. And they're like, that's what you're going to get. I'm like, no, you don't understand. My lawyer's going to argue. My lawyer said this. They're like, no, Cox. That's not how it works. And I'm like, because they've been through the Fed. Like, I don't know anything.
Yeah, so they know what's going to happen.
They know. And when I came back, I was just like, I couldn't believe it.
And what's that feeling like when you come back and you sit down? Never been to jail before. Yeah, you did your fucked up shit, but it's different when somebody, when you just get hit with 26 years in prison in your life. When you come back and you sit down, are you just,
I was
there's
numb.
nothing to even say?
I was just numb. I was completely numb. But look, I'd actually I just could, like, tears rolling down my face. I could not. I was in shock. And then I felt better. Then, not felt better, but at least I got myself under control before I got back to the unit. Well, I knew that the news was going to play it. Mm-hmm. And so the news played it. So when I walked into the unit, just after the news had played, I walk in and everybody looks over at me. And guys are just like shaking their head like, and I see him going like, man, I'm sorry. Like, bro, I'm sorry. Boom. The tears hit me again. Boom. I start crying. I go straight to my room, close the door, lay in bed. Guys are coming to my door, knocking on the door going, man, Cox, I know it's gonna be okay. I know it seems rough. These are not trained professionals.
Yeah. They're like, these are guys at 10 o'clock when the cell is shut that are coming up to you.
No, they're coming up to me right then. They're just trying to.
Walked in?
Huh?
As soon as you walked in?
As soon as I walked in, I jumped in my bed, fell in my bed. I'm just fucking in tears. And they're trying to make me feel better.
Right.
Bro, it's going to be all right, man. Like, they don't know what to say.
Yeah.
They're not professionals. They're like, you can't be letting them do that to you, bro. Man, fuck them feds, man. Fuck. It's like, what? Just leave. Just leave. You're not helping me. You're not helping,
Yeah, fuck them all you want. They just gave me 26
exactly.
years.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So what's funny is that probably the best guy that I had was another fraud guy. And I remember he came to the door and he goes, listen, bro, let's face it. He said, you're going to do some time. And I was like, oh my
no
God.
shit.
And he looked at me and he said, but at 10, he goes, after you've done, he said, you've done a year. He said, which means you got about 22 years to go. And I was like, okay. And he said, at 12, so you're going to do 12 years. He goes, because at 10 years, they'll send you to a camp. He goes, you can walk away from a camp. He goes, once you get to the camp, he said, you make a good friend just a year out before you go to the camp. And then when you get to the camp, you hang out with somebody who's about to get out. You become good friends with him. One of those two guys will pick you up. They'll pick you up. They'll have clothes waiting for you. You get out of the country, you commit a fraud, you do whatever you got to do. He says, but you're going to do 12 years. And I was like,
what Matt is saying is in a camp, there's no fence.
There's no fence. You can walk away.
You can just run in, and people are actually training to run through the woods, prior to doing it.
Yeah.
Like they're literally running up and down a rock.
Sometimes
getting in shape.
Sometimes you literally can walk 100, 200 feet and get into a car. Like there's like the road's right there.
Yeah.
Somebody can slow down, you hop in the car and drive off. There'll be 300, 400 people at a camp, and there's like 4 guards. And none of them are leaving the guard shack. Like they're all just hanging out, eating pizza and talking and playing on the computer. Like they don't even pay attention. They come around just for count.
Yeah.
So people leave all the time.
Yeah.
People leave, go get food, come back, bring it back. They go get drugs. They got, everything. So I'm saying, so I remember when he said that, I remember thinking, yeah, 12 years. Okay.
I can do it because that's what you thought you were going to get.
Right. It's ridiculous.
Right.
But and that's really what I was. So I started focusing on that more.
Yeah.
And that just, it's hope. Hope gets you through. It's the hope that this is going to happen.
So then at that point, you're just you're waiting. You say, okay, well, I got 10 to 12 years, like I thought. And then that 26 kind of goes out of your mind at the moment to get through what you got to get through.
Yeah.
And my friend was in a camp, and he was saying that they would train because they knew it was the guards would come at certain times, and they knew that, okay, they had this amount of time to get to the road, to get the book bag of shit, and to get back. And when he first got there, he saw these guys like run up and down like rocks, like all day long. Like they build rocks and shit. Come to find out, he found out that was practicing to get through the terrain of the woods, to get out to the highway, to get to the car, to get the book bag, to bring the shit back, to then sell cell phones, liquor, Xanax, you fucking name it, they got it in that bag. And he was saying like the guards only come like one time at night, 3 times during the day because they're over at the medium or the low or the.
Hey, you're on. There's no reason for a camp. You're on out custody.
Yeah,
you're no real danger.
Just go home. Once you're done at the low, go home.
Right. Look at all these guys right now that are half the people at the low are shouldn't even be at the low. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like all these guys that they've let out, something like 5,000 inmates they let out for COVID. there's one guy. So it's like 2 people have violated, 1 person has a new charge, like actually went out and committed a crime. So, and probably just went out and sold drugs. It's probably for money.
Yeah.
So probably got out, started selling drugs. But for the most part, 5,000 guys are out there for a year. Nobody's committed a crime. Like these are not, there's no reason these guys should be. And there's, you know that the Biden administration wants to lock them all back up.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even watch it anymore. I'm so sick of this shit. What? So that the Biden administration wants to take the people that were let out.
Right. So Trump lets a bunch of guys out because basically you're some white collar criminal who got 3 years for tax evasion. You go to prison, catch COVID, and die. That actually happened, by the way. So they were like, okay, wait a minute. We've got guys that are nonviolent that are on out custody. Like basically, you're not violent. Like
like they're on their way out.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
well, not at, their level, their security level is so low that it's basically this guy doesn't have to be in prison.
Yeah.
And because the Bureau of Prison doesn't want to put people on house arrest, they want you incarcerated. That's where their money is, to keep you in there. So they're like, they said, look, if anybody in the prison system is susceptible to basically dying of COVID, and it's a cesspool in there. Like everybody in prisons got COVID at this point. Guards are dying left and right. So if that's the case, you got some inmate who has asthma and is 50 years old and is not in great shape, and you got to get him out. Put him on an ankle monitor, send him home. If he has somewhere to go, send him. So that's what they did. They did that with 5,000 guys.
That's what the Trump administration did.
Right. So then Biden's back in, and Biden's saying, look, things are getting better. Everybody's getting their shots in prison. We're going to give everybody their COVID shot in prison. And at that point, we need to take all these 5,000 people that are out and put them back in prison.
The fuck?
Why?
Money.
They haven't committed. They haven't done anything. They're all on out custody. You now know you can monitor them. So you now know you can monitor these guys outside of the prison. So why are they in prison? You put an ankle monitor on them. You let them get a job. You let them pay their own bills. They can pay all the fees. They can pay for everything themselves. You don't have to house them anymore. Here's the problem. Problem is then the inmate population drops, and then we don't need camps anymore. We can now close those, and we don't need camps. We don't need to staff them. So guess what? The Department of Justice's budget doesn't have to be so big, does it? Let's start cutting back on your budget. That makes sense, but any organization that wants to continue and thrive needs to continue to grow. So the Bureau of Prisons would be perfectly happy to keep piling in people. So they also don't want anybody to know that we can let these people out and they can be monitored at home. That hurts us also.
Yeah. Well, it's a business.
Right. We don't want to close this. We don't want to lay people off. We want to be powerful. We want to have a big union. We want to have a lot of employees. We want to have power. We want to have money.
Do you think this administration will actually do that? Pull all those people back in? Do you really? Jesus.
So you're some guy who went out, got a job, started a life, got a girlfriend.
Maybe I was having a kid.
Yeah. Who knows? And guess what? Now you got to go. Haven't done anything wrong. You got 5 years left on your sentence. Guess what? We're going to yank you up, throw you back in jail.
But don't you think he'll get rocked if he does that? I guess he doesn't give a fuck.
No, they're inmates. Nobody cares about criminals.
That's true.
Who cares about criminals?
I think, 5,000 people, that's 5,000 people that are going to throw a fucking fit.
I mean, who cares? Nobody's going to listen. Listen, the media doesn't care about criminals. Nobody cares about criminals.
The judge will have to go back. He got out. Remember I told you? From the Kids for Cash?
Yeah.
That means he'll have to go back. People will be happy about that.
Matter of fact, there was an article that...
Well, he should have never been let out to begin with.
He was older, and they were afraid he was going to catch COVID.
Right. There's an article right now that was released about a week ago, maybe, and it's called... I just read it. And it says anybody I think it's 4 years or 5 years. If they have more than 4 or 5 years, they've got to go back. Like if you have like 4 years, they're like... I think that was the number 4. They're like,
You don't know what the article was called?
It was called. I don't know. It was about. You can
probably
find
just
it.
type in like Biden wants to put.
It says Joe. Joe is in the title for sure. Joe is in the title.
All right, while he looks it up, we'll talk about the American Greed thing. So you got 7 years off between those three, And what did you do? You wrote a piece on how they, like how you committed your fraud.
See, that's one article.
That's
but
that's that ADA.
Well, no, I mean, I'm trying to help him. It
You
came out
can't-
about a week or so ago. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Multitask.
Go ahead. I can't multitask. Go
I'm
ahead.
just fucking with you. I'm your friend. That's why I'm
All right.
fucking with you like this. So you got the 7 years off. And what was the other thing you did? You wrote a piece, kind of like the movie that you always talk about.
Oh, an ethics and fraud course. I wrote a course on basically how to help people.
Not get.
Yeah, how to not fall into the trap of committing a fraud. And then I wrote what's called a red flags course, which helps loan officers detect and see the warning signs that fraud's being, is that actually this is what's happening right now. This guy's committing fraud. There's all these warning signs, and you're just gonna do the loan anyway because you don't see it.
Yeah. And then when you did the American Greed, they came to the prison, or how did that one work?
American Greed, I did. I went to the warden's office for 2 days in a row and talked on the phone for like an hour.
Okay.
They barely used any of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because when you sent me that zip file, there wasn't.
There was like barely
It was
anything
it
they
was
could.
basically pictures of you and them narrating about you.
Right, and then there was maybe we're talking
3
about
parts. I think 3.
3 different times where I said 1 or 2 things that they thought
Yeah, well,
that makes them sound bad.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah, they
use
made
that.
Fucking terrible.
2 hours, and they found like 3 pieces, like less than probably a minute
And
total.
it wasn't even the story. It wasn't even really the story of what went on, from what I know and from what I've read. And I've read your original.
It's just exaggerated. It was exaggerated. I mean, it's like saying, none of that's true. Well, no, wait. They said I committed fraud. I committed fraud. They said I was borrowing money on homes. I did do that. But like, there's all this massive amount of fraud, and they said, what is the most egregious? What makes him look the worst? This part right here.
Right. Well, they have to make it as drama as they can.
Right. They're going to dramatize it. Yeah. So this little piece here, out of all of this, we're going to focus on this. Why? Because that makes him look really bad.
And that's what's going to get the ratings. Right.
That's what we want.
That's the guy that's getting out. Or
Right. Did you ever interview him?
This guy here?
Yeah.
No.
Boy, he lost some weight when he was in prison.
We never. No.
Connected?
Yeah, I thought that maybe that wouldn't be such a fuck him. I really don't want to be sitting next to a fucking sick fuck.
Yeah, he got out.
Yeah, but he got out. He's the one who was putting kids away.
Yeah.
I mean, what could? I mean, you sit across from him. Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. I guess good, but I mean, first off, that's so fucked up.
Oh,
and what's your fucking excuse going to be?
He's got a whole thing on why. Like, I talked to him about it. Like, he was like, that it was, that.
You talked to this guy?
Yeah, I've talked to him. I talked to him about Boziak's story.
Yeah.
John Boziak. Like, I needed to talk to somebody about, was it possible? Like, why did they lock this kid up? Why didn't they keep him in there? Why didn't they, like, was that possible? Like, I needed to talk to an expert. That was my expert, a judge, a what?
No, I was going to say that's the other judge. That's the head judge. He's the guy that was the head honcho. The other judge is the sidekick. And the other sidekick judge got out. The main guy is still in prison, it says. He didn't get out for a release for him. And he's older than the other guy.
So who got out? Conahan?
No.
Conahan or
Conahan got out.
Conahan got out.
Chivarilla's
Here's
still
the
in
name of
prison.
it. Here's the name of the article. Refill our federal prisons, ? Say it ain't so, Joe. Question mark.
Just
Yeah. That's fine. Say it ain't so, Joe. And
right there, right?
Yeah.
Click on that.
So that's the one that talks all about.
Wow. So he does. In March 2020, as the threat of COVID became clear, Congress passed legislation to provide emergency assistance to states. We know that. Under normal circumstances, the BOP, Bureau of Prisons, is authorized to send someone to home confinement only at the end of their sentence, 6 or 10% of the sentence, whichever is less. But with COVID-19 spreading among people in prison, sitting ducks who have no way to sow, blah, 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 blah. In other words, Trump...
Oh, 7,000.
Yeah.
Roughly 7,400 individuals are currently serving the remainder of their sentence on
At
home
home
confinement.
confinement.
Right. So 7,400. That's, what did I say, 5,000?
You said 5,000.
I was off.
Between 2,000 and 3,000 of them are serving extended home confinement terms, thanks to the authority Congress gave the Attorney General. Where does it get to the part? What's that say? With second just anyway, so he wants to put him back in. So that's not good.
Right.
And that is abovethelaw.com, and you just type in.
Yeah, there's other articles.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, just
that's the one I
refill our federal prison. Say it ain't so, Joe. Okay, so you got the 7 years off for that. Did you think you were going to get 7 years off for that? Like doing the shows?
Oh yeah, I was told the whole time I was going to get time off, but the
No.
government just kept saying no, they're not. Then they would say do it and we'll consider it substantial assistance and we'll reduce your sentence. I would do it, and then they'd come back and they'd go, yeah, it's just not enough. I said, well, what do you mean? You said you would consider it. I did it. You said we did consider it, and it's not enough. And I was like, what? And that's when I learned like the power of really understanding what a word means.
Yeah.
We said we'd think about it.
Right.
And we did think about it. And it's not enough. And I was just like, no, they said we will consider it. Yeah, we will think about it.
So now this is the second time, because the first time you're going into court, Matt, right? Thinking 10 to 12, you get 26.
Yeah.
Now you go do this shit, you think you're getting time off, not enough. So this is twice. This is another.
This is over and over again. This happened the whole sentence.
From the time you had done American Greed, Dateline, wrote the script, how long did it take from when you were done with those three to the point when they actually gave you the deduction?
2-3 years.
Jeez.
2 or 3 years. Like it was 2 or 3 years into it when everybody had told me it's just you can't do anything. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. And then I met Frank Amadeo, and he's like, I'll take care of this. It's unfair, and I won't allow them to do this. And I'm like, this guy, what the heck's going on? This crazy. He's an inmate, but he's a lawyer. He was disbarred and he's in prison, and it was like he got out.
Yeah.
He's doing 9. I think he's got 8 more years to go. So he'll have to go back to prison if they pull these guys back. But yeah, Frank said, I'm not going to let him do this. I'm going to file a 2255 and we'll fight them and we'll this and we'll. And it was just like, oh my God, this guy.
Yeah, and you wrote a book on him.
Yeah.
You did a podcast on him.
Yeah.
It's
insanity.
About a couple months ago we did it. It's on Amazon. You can grab it. It's a good book. It's with George Bush. F-16 planes.
It's funny, a screenwriter, just had read the book and he contacted me. He was going, bro, this is amazing. He said, it's shocking. He's like, and now he's reading all these articles on him. He's like, bro, I can't believe nobody's done anything on this story with the exception of me. But it's on Amazon. It's a good book.
The biggest thing with him that blew me away was his IQ. Remember his IQ when we looked it up? It was like 186.
Yeah,
remember that, Rob?
The article or something. One of the articles or something said that he had 180
86.
IQ.
Well, it was in the actual police, the federal paperwork that it was 186. And then we looked up like the levels of genius, and 186 is like through the roof.
Right.
It's tremendously high.
He's a sharp guy. He's a troubled guy. He's also very troubled. What else is going on? Is that a new Rolex or new? Is that new?
I don't know what it is. It's a fucking Timex. So you said you do have a new book in the works.
No, I have a new story, like a synopsis that I want to write, which is about a guy named John Long, who he's actually got an amazing story. He's like his family came over and went from, I want to say it's might be North Korea or South Korea, or is he Vietnamese? It's somewhere in Asia. He's not Chinese though, but he came over, and when he was a young kid, they're living in Chinatown. They can't control him. He's running the streets. He's fighting. He won't go to school. He's a little maniac, and super smart guy too, but just a maniac. And so he eventually joins basically a Chinese gang called the Triads. It's called I want to say it's like the Hop Suit something Triad, but it basically means Red Door. So it's like the Red Door Triad. It's like a gang. Only it's not like our gangs. Like, it's like an organized gang. Like they're everywhere. They have them in all throughout Europe. Like they have like a home base of operations. It's not like the Crips and the Bloods who are hanging out in some guy's house and they're loosely based and they don't really know each other. Like these guys, it's an organization. So at some point, a Chinese businessman comes to him, and most about 99.99% of all the manufacturing plants and businesses in China are partially owned by the state. So at some point in the I'd say in the late 80s, early 90s, China had gotten, with their manufacturing plants were getting all of these orders to build like IBM computers and Apple computers and all of these different computers. And they needed to come up with the chips. Well, the manufacturing wasn't up to standards to be able to come up with these Pentium chips or Pentium or whatever those chips are called. So when they first came out, so they're not able to manufacture them fast enough in a quantity and quality that actually can run the computers. So they go to the triads. Like China can't send in a bunch of commandos to rob these places. Like I can't let some Chinese. We can't let one of our military get caught breaking into manufacturing plants. Like that would be bad for us.
Right.
So they go to, who do you go to? You go to criminals. They'll do it. So they go to the triad. And by this point, John Long has joined the triad. And these guys are doing all, these are the Chinese. So they're robbing places. They're extorting people. They're breaking in places. They're selling drugs. They're selling guns.
So now he's basically gotten himself into the gang.
He's in a gang. He's in the
gang.
triad. And he's running a bunch of guys. So they come to him. They come to the triad, and the triad calls Long in and says, "Look, we want you. We think you're smart enough to pull this off." Like he's pulling off big jobs already. He's like a 22, 23-year-old kid, but that's a normal gang member. But he's sharp. So they say, "Okay, here's what we want you to do. We want you to. These guys need 10,000 of these computer chips. They're manufactured at this plant." They know they're there. They need you to go get the chips.
So he goes and robs them.
He gets a crew of guys. You can't. I mean, these are big places. Like this isn't like it's not like a 7-Eleven. I mean, this is like robbing a
IBM plant.
It's like robbing something 3 times the size of a Home Depot. With guards and people manufacturers. So they stake the place out. They pull up. They rent like nice cars. They dress in nice suits. They pull up as the places. They figure out how many people work there. When is the low shift? When's the high shift? When are more people on? When are more people off? They wait till people empty out. When the shifts end, so they watch it for about a week. When they finally realize, okay, this is when it's almost closed. Like the door's not all locked up, but it's almost closed. So most people have left, but we know that there's like 4 people left. So they come in and they knock on the door and they open the door and there's a bunch of guys in business suits and they go, "Yeah, we're here to tour the plant and we need to talk to so-and-so." "Oh, I'm sorry, he's not here." "Well, can we come in and while you talk or, while you call him because we need to get in touch with him." So they let them in. Boom, they pull the guns out. Get on the ground. They zip tie everybody. Then they have someone walk them, one of the official people that work there, walk them through the factory. And then every time they come up on somebody, boom, get on the ground, zip them up. Let's keep walking. They walk through this, they zip tie 5 guys, 4 guys, 6, 8 guys. And then they go, "Where are these chips?" They take them to them. They load up a van full of them. They get their 10,000. They drive to a parking lot. They leave all the people zip tied. They drive off to a parking lot. They walk up. There's the official guy. It's a guy supposedly that worked for a manufacturing company. However, these chips went to multiple manufacturing. The truth is, it's probably a Chinese official. It's probably someone who works for the Chinese government, but somebody that is detached enough so that they don't have to claim responsibility. So they go and they say, "Okay, we got the chips." The guy opens them up, sees the chips. He hands them a briefcase with $2 million in it. They give him the keys to the van. The guy drives off. He robbed 30 places over the course of 2 years.
Wow.
I mean, so think about it. This is China having the triad rob Americans or American plants so that they can ship the chips back, put them in computers so that they can sell them back to the Americans. And the chips, think about it, this is $10 million worth of chips.
Yeah.
If you read the articles, it's like the thieves got away with $10 million worth of computer chips that they're selling for $1 million. So imagine all of that's being turned over to China. What's China making?
What's the guy's name?
The guy's name is John Long.
Like John Long?
Like John, John, John.
I just didn't know
Long.
if it was different because it was hanging out over there. So 30 fucking plants he got in 2 years.
Oh yeah, this is in the tens of millions of dollars. This is all over the United States. It's not like he stayed in California. This guy's everywhere.
That sounds like a good story.
It is, and ultimately, there's a murder. Not once again, Long didn't commit the murder.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like if you look at it, it's like this is a guy that's running a crew, but obviously the guys that you're running are gang members and they're idiots. And so one of the times when they're actually they're actually like they're casing the joint. They're watching this place. They're surveilling the one of the plants. It takes a week or two, and they're counting. So there's a lot of downtime. So they notice that the hotel where they live, they notice that they're staying. They notice there's a jewelry store not too far away. And so they start watching the jewelry. They think, well, while we're in town,
Yeah, we're already here.
let's rob the jewelry store. So they follow the guy down. They follow the jeweler home, find out where he lives, go in that night, kidnap him. But when they kidnap him, I think that his brother-in-law is there. And the brother-in-law puts up a struggle because they're like going to kidnap him and bring him back to the jewelry store. Brother-in-law puts up a struggle. He gets shot and killed. And one of Long's guys gets shot and killed. Long doesn't know anything about this until they basically drive back to California with the guy shot, like, hey, he's shot. And they call him up and they tell him, look, whatever. Lee is shot. He's bleeding. We can't go to the hospital. This other guy's dead. Long is like, what the hell happened? You weren't even going to rob the place for a couple days.
But then they pin him with the murder.
Well, of course, he works under him.
Yeah.
I mean, you hired a crew. They killed somebody.
Don't ruin your book too much because then you come back in and
Nah,
let's do
fine.
it. Now,
It's a good book. It's a good story.
So he gets caught.
Oh, yeah, he's doomed.
Done.
And
Now-
keep in mind, too, this guy did like 4 years going to trial in all these different jurisdictions.
Oh yeah, because they hit him in every.
Every place. So he's
man.
tried in Florida. He's tried in California. He's tried in like Ohio. He's tried in Utah. He's tried in Nevada. This guy's got like 150 years.
You know what, Matt? Now's the time to write that book because with all the China shit and the computer shit and everything else.
I'm trying. You know what's the problem is? Every time I went California is shut down. You can't get. I can't get the transcripts. I can't get the motions. I can't get anything in California because it's all on. It's not like I can go online, have someone pull it online. It's in where the microfiche. You have to have somebody physically have someone go down there, do the research. This is back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Right, so it's not like it's right there on the top pile.
Right. And I can do a lot with the articles. I can do a lot with people that knew him.
Right.
But at some point, you really need the dates and the. I can't order the Freedom of Information Act because Long is still alive and he's in the pen.
But why can't you order the Freedom of Information Act?
Because he's alive, he would have to sign off. Now, if I could get a death certificate, if he was dead, I could order it. Like I can't order one on you without your permission.
Oh, okay.
Now, in the state, I could. Like in the state of Florida, I could order it on you.
Right.
Like they don't care if you're alive or not. Or like they're like, this is freedom of public records. You can get it.
Have you spoke to him? Have you sent him a letter or anything like that?
No, I had somebody I that I was working with had contacted him.
Yeah.
And dealt with him and tried to kind of communicate with him and he's not receptive to the way
might not be in the mood.
Well, first of all, he's got life and he's deep into the prison population and his response was, "You want me to rat out everybody that worked with me," and it was like. No, I mean, I'll find all of this out when I get the transcripts. I'm just saying I'd like to know what your backstory is. Your family came here. Why'd they come here? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? When was the first time you committed a crime? That kind of stuff that I can't really learn.
Without having. Now, on the books that you wrote, did you always... can you write his book without his permission, or could he sue you for writing a book on him without the permission?
You can sue anybody for writing. You can sue anybody, but it's I could sue you because I don't like the fact that you wear black shirts. You know what I'm saying? It's like It's stupid. Like now, how far will I get in front of a judge and the judge is going to go, okay, this is baseless, or hey, the statute says this, or this is what precedent says, and he's allowed to wear black shirts. So. So you could sue, but here's where you really have a problem. If you're my neighbor, you're my next door neighbor, and you work at Walmart, and you're just a regular guy, and you and I meet you, and whatever, we go to barbecues and stuff, and I learn a lot about you, and then one day I write a book about you. Well, you have an expectation of privacy. So if I use your name and everything, then now you can sit here and say, wait a second, this is a guy who went to barbecues with me. He got all this information. He wrote a book about me. He didn't ask my permission. You're going to get sued. You're going to lose. And the difference is, did your neighbor get arrested for committing 60 bank robberies? Did you get that information from him? And this is the real, from all of public records. If I get all that information from public records, I can write a book about him. Now,
it's public information, right?
It's public information. Now, if I were to go to him and tell him, hey, I want to write a book about you. Let's say he hadn't done anything wrong, and it's just him and I. But we have, he's flipping burgers and we're having a barbecue, and I go, man, you're a super interesting guy. I'd love to write a book about you. And he goes, oh, okay, I don't have a problem with that. And then he tells me, yeah, you can write a book. And we sit down, we write it out, we do everything. And then when the book is done, he goes, no, I don't like that book. I don't want you to publish that. Guess what? It's too late. You knew, right? You knew exactly. Too late. You knew. You participated. You actively knew. Now, you may not be happy about it, and you should have thought about that before, but no, you can't have me do all this stuff and then change your mind.
Have you had that problem before?
No, I've had that problem with Marcus Shrinker, the guy that jumped out of the airplane.
Yeah, he was the one who bought Lil Wayne's one of his CDs that didn't come out. He was the guy in New York. He was up in the price of the one medication, right?
No.
Marcus Shrinker.
Marcus Shrinker is the guy who faked his own death and jumped out of an airplane.
Who the fuck is that? Who's the one? Matt, you know who he is. He's real narcissist. Like he didn't develop the drug. His company developed the drug, and they shot the price up beyond belief. And he was real cocky, and he was on. Do you know what I'm talking about, Rob? He was. I think it was.
Did he testify in front of Congress?
Yeah, it was like the AIDS drug. I think it was the AIDS drug that he upped like crazy to like an astronomical price. And when he did that, they hit him with all kinds of charges. They let him out on bail, and he just started talking all kinds of shit on YouTube. If you saw a picture of him, you know who he is.
Right, but I didn't write a book about him.
No, I know. I'm confusing him with your guy because the names are pretty close.
Right. Well, yeah, I didn't. So Marcus Shrinker, after I wrote the book, he then turned around and said, I never worked with that guy. I don't know that. I mean, everything I have paperwork with his notes on it. I have an agreement with him. I have emails that he sent me, telling me stories. Like, it's overwhelming. I have overwhelming paperwork that shows we were working together. So that's the only time. And even still, he would never win that argument. He's just a pathological liar. But so, with Long, I can write an entire story on Long without his permission because he's been arrested for all these things. And I'm going to be able to gather the entire story based on what's in public records. I can't order the freedom of information on him because he's alive. I would need his permission. He's not going to give me permission.
Well, it sounds like a good book. Like a lot of people that I run into, when they'll see it, because they play it a lot, and people that know you, they don't even realize that you were the one who wrote it. The American Greed about the opiate kids.
Oh, yeah.
What was the name of the book?
Oh, Generation Oxy.
Generation Oxy. Have you ever heard of that?
No, but that sounds interesting.
That was him, and it's on American Greed all the time. And I might go to a friend's or be around somebody, and somehow it will come up because we're down here in Florida, which is drug heaven. And they're like, "Did you see that American?" And I said, "That's Matt. My buddy Matt wrote that. People don't even know that you wrote that."
No, that's because
it's been on American Greed 100 times.
That's because, yeah, I mean, they saw the article that was in Rolling Stone, which was based on the story that I wrote, and then they've done a bunch of programs on those kids.
Yeah. Did they make a movie with that?
No,
but just a strong documentary, I think.
Yeah, but no.
I could have swore I saw a documentary on Netflix with them. I'm pretty sure. I'll look tonight, or maybe Prime Video, just to let you know, because you wrote the damn thing.
Yeah, I'd love to know. Because I don't talk to Dodd anymore. Yeah. He got upset. We optioned the film rights to the story. And
what does that mean when you say you option the film rights to the story?
It means that, New Line Cinema came in and said, "Look, we want to make a story based on this article." So they said, we'll give you, we're like $50,000 for an 18-month option. And of course, if it gets made, then we'll give you guys like $1 million. But so we'll give you 50,000. We split it up. He got some, I got some. The writer of the article got some. And the guy that didn't even write the article. He just took my story and put his name on it.
Yeah.
And then he mentions that, Matt Cox sent me all this material. Well, I sent you an article, which you then rewrote maybe 10% of and stuck your name on it and got it in Rolling Stone. And my name was supposed to be on the article. The last minute he changed it.
He took it off?
Yeah, last minute they changed. They took it off. And I know I talked to the owner or the editor of Rolling Stone, and he said your name was never on the article. We never talked about you being on there. He came in and said, I wrote this article, and my name was never on it. So, just complete scumbag.
Sounds like plagiarism.
Yeah, well,
not really plagiarism. He's put his name where your name should be.
Right. I mean, it's so anyway. When then it got optioned, and then New Line Cinema was going to do an article or do a movie. They were talking about doing a movie on it, and then I was talking to Doug Dodd, which is the main kid in the article. He'd gotten out by then, and so we're emailing each other, and I'm like, he's like, bro, they're writing a script right now, and I went, really? And I said, it's like based on what? And he came back. He's like, the screenwriter has read the book twice. Now, it wasn't a book yet. It was just a manuscript. He read the manuscript twice. He loves it. And I went, the screenwriter, I said, so he's using it to write the story? He's like, yeah, bro, he's read it twice. He thinks it's amazing. Okay, so now you're using, one, my name's not on the article. Two, it was optioned.
Strike two. Yeah.
They did give me, like, I got a small portion of it, but now you're using my book. So I'm saying, hey, you're using my book to write a screenplay. So what I'm asking you for is if that book or if that movie gets made, I want my name to be on it along with everybody else's. And the response was, you're a guy in prison. Nobody wants your name on it. And I was like, oh, no. That's not acceptable. You're using my material. I have emails that show that you said the screenwriter is using my book to write the screenplay.
And you're the one who did all the research.
Oh, I did everything.
Put it all together. Probably wrote it 50 times.
And I interviewed the kid.
Yeah.
I met everybody except for one of the people, and that kid we communicated through email. So, anyway, so what ended up happening was he was like, don't rock the boat, bro. You're gonna make a lot of money. I was like, a lot of money doesn't mean anything to me in prison. Didn't change anything. I can only spend $350 on commissary. It doesn't matter if I have $20,000 in the bank.
Right.
So, we went. I was like, I'm concerned about when I get out of prison.
Right.
Can I reinvent myself as like a true crime writer? And you're hindering that. Like if I got out of prison and there was a movie that was based on my book, that's different. That helps me. And no, bro, don't be like that, man. Don't be like a hater. A hater, bro. I was like, you begged me to write your story. You pathetic little weasel. You followed me around and begged me to help you.
Envy and entitlement. That's
right.
That's the answer to that. And that was one of two. Then you get.
What ended up happening with that was, here's why he doesn't talk to me anymore. Because I sent a demand letter to New Line Cinema, to everybody involved. Like I sent demand letters to everybody.
Which you should, yeah.
And immediately, with excerpts from all the emails that I have. So everybody stopped talking to me. Immediately. So what I think, and keep in mind, they've optioned that thing 3 times. So like every 18 months, I get another check.
Oh, so you are, but
I'm getting a small check.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're not getting what you should.
It's not about the check. It's that you're using my material to,
and not even putting your fucking name.
You're not going to put my like. It's like this is the kind of thing that they'll do. Like they'll spend $500,000 to fight a claim where it's like, you understand, we're talking about putting my name on a screen for 8 seconds. It'll be up there for maybe 5 seconds at the 5 to 8 seconds. Bloop.
And they'll spend all that kind of money because they don't want your name on there because you're in prison.
Well, it's not even that. It's just
or they want to give the credit to somebody else.
They want to give the credit to somebody else. They don't want to. It's like, it's just amazing that but Hollywood is just.
But that's not even the bad one. The bad one was the War Dog.
Yeah, the War Dogs is the.
Deveroli. He got fucked. I remember seeing the paper. Rob, the stack of paper was this fucking high.
Of a fighting in prison.
Yeah, yeah. And then there was another stack of paper this high of like one stack. One stack was like back and forth with it was Universal, right?
Universal.
No, it was Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, I'm sorry. I mean, this high as shit. And then there was another stack, maybe even higher, of research on Deveroli, who is the character in War Dogs. Yeah. So, I mean, this guy's got stacks of trying to get what is well-deserved from War Dogs, and then an even bigger stack of research that he did that I don't care what they say because I read the fucking thing. That script is pretty much the movie.
So Matt, you wrote, well, let's say this. You wrote this story about what War Dogs is based off of, correct?
Yeah, I wrote Ephraim Deveroli's story.
And then someone from Hollywood or wherever, Warner Brothers, found it, or
No.
You brought
Wait till you hear the whole story. It is fucked
one of the
up.
president of Warner Brothers International. His son was friends with a guy. His son is does documentaries, and he's friends with a guy that does documentaries. So they were having issues with the script and Jonah Hill. There wasn't enough about Deveroli. So the head of Warner Brothers president, his son goes to his buddy. His buddy contacts Deveroli and says, "Hey, I understand you have a manuscript. You're writing a book, and you've written." Now he already had the manuscript. I'd already written it. So he said, "I'd love to see it." So Deveroli sends it to him. Now they've got a copy of the manuscript. So they take
his manuscript that he wrote.
Right. They take the manuscript.
Just to make it clear.
And according to Deveroli, I've never made this allegation, but according to Deveroli, they used the manuscript to write the story. Now, Warner Brothers' argument to that was, we used we read the manuscript just to make sure that we didn't copy it exactly, so that we changed it enough so that it's not the original story. Okay.
They changed it enough just so they could argue it in court.
Right. They like we can't say this. So, but if we say it like this,
or they put a scene in there where he was in the bathtub and he wasn't in the bath. Something.
Exactly. They did look. We have a whole scene where he's in Afghanistan or in like Iraq. He was never in Iraq. So they do these little things to say, look, we didn't use it.
Right. So that when you go to sue.
Right, they can argue. And a lot of what they did was they took scenes that were in there and they just put pack owls in the scene where Deveroli was.
Yeah.
See, most of the exchange between Pacquiao's character and his girlfriend is really based on Deveroli and his girlfriend.
Right.
Deveroli's girlfriend hated war, hated guns, hated this, hated that. And so they just, and also like you ever notice in the scene, like, when Pacquiao goes and looks at this apartment and he's like, yeah, we'll take it. And they take the apartment. You understand? Pacquiao's lived in that building in like an efficiency in the older building. Pacquiao's he made $7,000 total working for Deveroli. Wow. He never owned a Porsche. He never owned a house like in that condo. None of that, all that happened to Deveroli. So they just swapped out the character because they don't have Deveroli's life rights. We've got the manuscript, and we have Pacquiao's, but we don't have Deveroli. So here's what we're going to do. We'll swap the two out. We'll put in a couple scenes. We'll make it seem like it's all a completely different movie. We can argue it in court.
Yep.
They still settled with Deveroli.
Yeah.
Like, they still settled with Deveroli. Like,
now, Rob, if you would read the manuscript and then watch the movie, you would see a couple things that they changed, like he's talking about.
Yeah, there's a few things.
But there is no doubt, without question, that movie was written by him. They just flipped a couple things, but that movie he wrote A to Z. I read it fucking 10 times, and then I typed it up.
The book is way better than the movie. Like the book is The Lord of War.
Right.
He's a young kid in his early 20s who's basically it's like the Lord of War. He's literally going on to former Soviet bases and going on there and walking into, just like in the Lord of War, he's walking into warehouses and saying, I want 10,000 AK-47s. I'll take 1,000 AK-74s. I'll take, these MM4, grenades. Loading up, put the visqueen around them, load them up on the.
Now, my question is, when they take a movie, right? They base a movie off of somebody, whoever it is, Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan is not going to be in the movie, but they'll find someone that looks like Michael Jordan. And sometimes you're like, I could see it looks like. Did these guys look at all like that guy?
No. No. First of all, Pacquiao is bald. I mean, he shaves his head bald. He's balding. Deveroli was actually thin. Most of his life. The only time there's a picture of him where he's gained weight when he was placed on home confinement for like a year before he went to prison. He was on an ankle monitor. He gained like 60 pounds. But his whole life growing up, if you look at any of the pictures of him with guns, him at these gun shows, him in Albania where they're doing where they're getting the all the ammunition, he's thin. Now, he's a cokehead.
Yeah. Now, in reality, I forget because I haven't read it in 2 years, but how did he eventually get popped in real life?
No, same thing in the movie.
I thought so.
That whole part of it is.
Yeah, I thought so.
Listen, 80% of that is the same.
Yeah.
So that whole part is, what he was doing was, and they have it a little bit messed up. What happened was Albania was gifted or given a ton of Chinese ammunition from China. So they're allies. So they gave him a bunch of ammunition. And when Deveroli starts selling that ammunition that's been stockpiled for 30 years, when he starts selling it, initially when they sell it, they're selling Albanian ammunition. But eventually the Albanians run out of their own ammunition. He's buying, we're talking about like, billions of rounds. So eventually they run out of it. They start giving him the Chinese ammunition. Not a problem. It's all pre-Tiananmen Square, right? There was an embargo after Tiananmen Square where no Americans are allowed to buy Chinese ammunition. But it's after. So if it's pre-Tiananmen Square, it's perfectly fine. So what ends up happening is he's selling it. He looks at it and he says, well, I'm going to sell it. At the same time, according to Deveroli, the price of fuel shot up through the roof. He hadn't accounted for that. And he said, so he called the military. He said, look, do you mind if I take the ammunition out of the canisters, out of the boxes that they're packed in? Like that's a ton of weight, and put them in plastic bags. So they go, yeah, that's not a problem. So they dump it all out and take it out. Now he says, obviously I also knew that all that stuff had Chinese markings on it. He goes, but I'd sold pre-Tiananmen Square Chinese ammunition before, like 6 months before he'd sold it. They never said anything. He said it wasn't a problem because I know it's like right now there's a ban on fully automatic machine guns. If I go on the internet right now and I can buy a fully automatic machine gun. I mean, not me, I'm a felon, but you could buy a fully automatic machine gun as long as it was manufactured prior to the ban. Really? Wow. You can't suddenly say anybody who's got a gun can't sell it. Why? Well, you can't sell automatic. Yeah, but I've had this for you're grandfathered in. Same thing with munitions. Yeah. So he had sold it. He said it's not a problem. So he then turned around and but he's also repackaging it. So he repackages it. They put it on the transports. They send it in. Army's getting it. The military's getting it. They inspect it. And keep in mind, I'm like, yeah, but you guys are taking out everything that says that. He goes, yeah, but if you look at you can look at every bullet. It's Chinese. It's got Chinese markings on it. He says it's in China, from China. So then this is the other thing, where you have an order that you fill out. Like, where is this ammunition coming from? Albania. He put Albania. They're saying, you lied. He's like, it is coming from, I bought it in Albania. I'm shipping it from Albania. I mean, he said, if something's made in China and I'm shipping it from the United States, they say, where's it coming from? It's coming from the United States. You didn't ask where it's manufactured. You asked where it's being shipped from. Right. Albania. So there were all these little things that when he finally gets caught, they pile them all up. So keep in mind, all of a sudden, there was an article that there's an article about how there's this 22-year-old kid who's got a $300 million contract, and he's selling old, corroded ammunition or munitions
to our military.
Right. There wasn't one complaint of anything of one bullet going off. Not one. That's a complete lie. Okay, that's something that was manufactured. That was a story that was manufactured.
So every bullet that he had gotten that he had sold
Absolutely.
to the U.S., they all worked.
Not one didn't work.
But in the movie, they switched it up and act like it was jamming.
Oh yeah, that's not true.
And that never happened.
Never happened.
Yeah.
What happened is this: the New York Times found out there's a 22-year-old kid who's got a $300 million contract, who, by the way, is outperforming all of the other manufacturers all the other established manufacturers who are out there. So they're furious with this kid. He's outperforming them because keep in mind.
So they want him going more than anybody.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So New York Times says this kid's buying old ammunition. So when they start looking into it, and then the military investigators get into it, they start putting together a case. Like, look, Congress wants this kid gone. He's an embarrassment. He's been arrested before. We don't know how he even passed all the screenings. How did his company end up? Keep in mind, they're performing.
Oh, I forgot about that. So he had a record prior to doing all this and still was able to get government contracts bidding and not only bidding, but we're talking about bidding on ammunition.
And we're not talking about, well, he wasn't a felon.
But still, he had a record, though.
He had a record, but he doesn't have a proven track record for solid performance.
Right.
Okay. So you can't say no. He's done he's done 20, 30, $100 million contracts. No, he hasn't. He's done $500,000, $2 million.
Right. In other words, his portfolio did not live up to what he was able to do.
Right.
If it was restricted correctly.
But he underbid the contract by like $50 million.
Right.
So right.
They're gonna take a shot. Right.
Right. So and this is the thing. Like, he's pulling it off.
Yeah.
They're performing like it's funny because there were the purchasing orders that were coming through, and the woman that's actually coordinating everything, literally she's coming to Deveroli and saying, can you send 100,000 rounds of ammunition here? And he's like, well, that's not where I'm supposed to be shipping it. Like, she's like, because Dynacorp was supposed to be able to do this, or Lockheed Martin was supposed to be able to do this, and they can't meet the demand. They got turned down, or they can't fly it in. They can't get it. How quickly can you get there? And he'd be like, I mean, I can get it. It's going to take about 2 weeks for me. He's like, that's fine. They're saying they can't get it there for months. Like he's now performing at it. He's meeting the contract requirements, and he's filling your requirements.
Right.
I mean, listen. He's
getting things
without a
done
doubt
that nobody else can get done.
And look,
so
and dirty. I mean, he's not doing it legit.
Yeah.
That's why they hire these guys, because
Right.
like the U.S. military can't finagle the rules, but Deveroli can. But when it made him look bad, they turn on him. They manufacture a case against them. And you know what they ended up saying? When he's sitting arguing, it's not illegal to ship Chinese ammunition that's made prior to the Tiananmen Square embargo. They said, yes, but you didn't know that, and you hid the fact. So you basically created a conspiracy by trying to hide what you were doing. Had you just asked your permission or just continued to do it, but you actually thought it might be an issue, because Pacquiao did think it was going to be an issue. And Deveroli thought at one point it may be an issue, but we're already repackaging all this stuff.
So let's just let them figure it out on their own, right?
Right. So if they figure it out, but the problem is Pacquiao comes in.
And fucks it all up.
He comes in, he turns himself in and says, look, we're shipping Chinese ammunition. I don't think we should be doing it. Deveroli says it's okay. I don't think so. And he's repackaging everything. And he says all this stuff.
What a jerk off.
And he keep in mind, Deveroli had just screwed him out of over $1 million.
Well, that might be why he started talking.
Yeah. So
he didn't get a lot of money. Right? You said he didn't get a lot of money. The other guy.
Oh no, he got like $7,000. He should probably owed him over $1 million minimum.
Well, that fits his portrayed.
What about the part,
Well-
what about the part in the movie when they're in like Iraq? Were they in Iraq?
No, he's never been to
They're
Iraq.
getting fired at. by
He's
the-
never been to Iraq.
So
He's
that was
never
one
been
of
to
the parts where
Afghan.
they-
It's all that's manufactured. I mean, what's so funny is like they did that for the purposes of the lawsuit that they knew were coming.
Yeah.
What was coming. When the fact is if they had made the movie based on that book that I wrote and just took it to like if they'd come in and said, "Look, we want to put your name on it. We're going to give you $50,000." I'll take it. I'd have been thrilled. I'm in prison. That's great. If they'd have gone to Deveroli and given him a few $100,000, he'd have been thrilled. Instead, they end up spending. I can't even tell you.
How much
what
do you think
spent.
they spent on lawyers
I
fighting?
actually know what they spent.
How much
on
did they
lawyers.
spend on?
I can't tell you.
Okay, I'm gonna guess, and you just say closer. High. Hey, you say higher or low?
Listen, it's over $1 and it's under $1 million. It's a lot.
Is it six figures?
It's definitely of
So
course. What
is
lawyer
it-
can you can't get a
Is it? Is it six figures with a 5 or higher? High or low? All right, Rob. The under or over.
Give
Do you
us the-
do you
give us
do you do you think that
Let's move on.
Warner Brothers spent under or over 500K fighting?
I'd say over 500K.
I would say that Rob is a smart man,
Matt,
but
just give us like the first 6 numbers in that.
I love the comment that
What's the first number?
Tommy's teeth are brighter than my future. I love that comment.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll take it
Did
again.
did you read that comment? There was actually a comment where a guy goes, "Bro, Tommy's teeth are brighter than my future."
Tommy, don't read the comments.
Awesome. They're awesome.
Make your future brighter. And it's the lighting. It's not my teeth.
Look, my teeth look super white.
Get
too.
off the fucking phone.
I'm not
man.
on. It's a habit. I'm just holding it.
Is
It's
it
like
on
a
airplane mode, or are you gonna
no,
start?
no.
a
It's
whole
on
bunch of
airplane.
shit?
It's on airplane mode.
Okay.
Huh.
This happens every time. What are we doing on the phone right now in the middle of a podcast?
I like to play with it, bro. This is magic. Do you understand? They didn't even exist when I got locked up. When I got out, they handed me a little magazine box.
You've been out for a while now, Matt.
I'm still impressed. I keep myself humble.
This fucking guy. Oh my god. Yeah, you're keeping yourself humble using what's that app called?
Oh yeah, Reface.
Yeah, and we're not promoting it because they're not paying, but it's just
No.
funny what the fuck they do.
Listen, I actually like literally. You understand? Typically, you know what my work day is? I wake up at like 6. I go work out. Right? I come home. I either go to see my mom or not, and I work like probably 10 hours a day painting, writing, doing podcasts, doing whatever I need to do. Right? I lost 3 hours the other day playing with this fucking app.
And this is called Reface. So shout out
Reface.
to Reface, even though
This is-
you're not sponsored, but you can be if you want.
Look, that's me. So you can put your face on somebody else.
Now that's Matt.
Yeah, but look,
They definitely
the
do
nose
the nose.
is wider. The nose is wider looking.
It is. Yeah, the nose is not.
Look
it's
at
not
the
great.
camera, Matt. Look at the camera. Now look at your yep. Yeah, look at that, and then let's go back to the picture here. Hold on. There's Matt. There's picture. Yeah, the nose is wider.
Yeah.
Play it again for another part because it does start to look more like him. Right there. Keep your face like that. See, it does look like. Yeah, it's got it.
It's great.
Right there. Pause that. Yeah, that's got him. That's insane. Right
You
there.
gotta do.
See, now that's pretty much got you pretty good there.
Yeah.
It's got your eyes, your eyebrows, your nose is right. They gave you a bigger bottom lip, but
That's fine.
it's still funny.
You gotta do Tommy. Tommy as
Iron Man.
as Iron Man. This is awesome.
Yeah, that does look like me, right?
That's perfect. When you got, look.
All right, so I
No,
so
wait,
you can
do the
pause
last
it.
part. The last part is the best. That absolutely it's perfect.
So that would be me with a goatee, I guess.
You with the goatee.
Hey, I'll take
and-
fucking Iron Man any day.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is Rob, the engineer. Also a drone guy, if you ever want. Oh, you got to give your number to Tank.
Yep.
And here's Rob.
This is Dumb and Dumber.
Here's Rob.
I mean, I don't know. That kind of looks like me.
That looks like you there. It's there. You just.
The eyes are
That
good.
right there, I had that haircut as like a 5-year-old. My mom got my
everybody
haircut
did
like
the bowl cut.
Rob, pause it and put it on Y view and come stand next to the TV at a good spot. What do you think's the best spot, Matt?
Right there.
Right there. Pause it Hey, come up here. This is Robert Moore. Worked for NBC, Fox. He's nice enough to be my engineer and click the cameras, and he's also does flying drones for high end shit. If you need a drone, gig.
Right.
All right. Let's see. It's there.
You got.
I mean, if I had the bowl cut still, I guess.
It's there. But like the
My tooth, I did crack my tooth. I got it fixed, but not that bad. But I cracked it.
The nose is pretty good too. It's.
you can if you look, you can tell it's him.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I think the Iron Man one on me is probably the closest.
Yeah.
Because and in the app, as you were saying, there's multiple ones you could do. Like you can do what were the other ones you were doing?
It's got to have 100 of them.
Yeah.
It's got 50 to 100 different.
Well,
movies.
you just said you spent 3 hours playing with
It was
so,
ridiculous.
yeah.
Listen,
Oh boy.
my mom has a nurse that is very attractive, and we put her face on a bunch of supermodels. And I mean, as soon as you send it to anybody, like I'd send a little clip to somebody, they'd come back and be like, "Oh my God, is that Celine? Oh my gosh, that's Celine. Oh my gosh, is that Celine? How did you do that? What's?" Like they immediately picked it out.
Yeah.
Me, that's pretty good.
Yeah. That one was pretty good. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Yeah. No, but you all three. There's spots.
They're pretty
there's certain
good.
spots where you can definitely see it.
It's, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
Listen, 10 years from now, it'll be
10 years will be walking around.
It'll be amazing.
Yeah. You know,
There'll be a hologram of me.
Yeah.
He'll walk in, sit down.
I won't even need you in here.
Nah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Typical Matthew Cox.
Man, look how I didn't realize how big that painting. Like, look
Yeah.
at the Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Man, that was big.
Unbelievable. Yeah, we're gonna go through your Instagram, but I wanted to ask you about the before we got on the podcast, you were talking about the $6 million piece that you put out. You just put it out this morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The guy Lugo.
Yeah. What happened? What video did you just put out that you were talking about $6 million? I was walking in and out, so I didn't hear all
on my channel.
Yeah.
Matt Cox and Inside True Crime.
Right.
Or just Inside True Crime.
Or
Whatever.
you just type in Matt Cox and you
Matt
go
Cox,
and you
yeah.
come up. Yeah.
So I put out a video today about this guy that I had
That's
met.
it right there. It's the con man reacts to $6 million PP loan scam. So that's the one right there. True Crime. Matthew Cox and Inside True Crime.
So I met this guy in federal prison named Julio Lugo. He's a black guy, but he's got like a Spanish name. So we used to hang out. We used to talk all the time. It's all right. So when I got out, he contacted me and was like, "Hey, bro, we got to hook up. We got to have lunch. I want to tell you what I'm doing." I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm doing real estate. I'm doing a bunch of stuff." Like I said, "Oh, you flipping a house?" Yeah, I'm flipping a place right now, but I'm doing a bunch of other stuff. Like I want to talk to you about. I go, "Well, let's talk. What is it?" "Well, it's kind of let's have a conversation in person." I was like, okay. So I knew something was wrong. Like all the pictures of him on Facebook, it's Louis Vuitton and Prada. He's got flashing money. Like nobody lays $100,000 out on a bed, and takes pictures of it, unless you're some wannabe gangster or rapper or just a complete idiot
Or asking to get your door kicked in.
Right. And so that was what he was asking for, because I then suddenly, like about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, somebody sent me a video and said, "Have you seen this?" And it was that Julio Lugo and his wife had been indicted and arrested for applying for $5.8 million in PPP loans. And now they make it sound like they got the money, but I obviously I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, no, they applied for it, but they obviously got $1 million, maybe $2 million out, because they're building new houses, they're paying off vehicles, they pulled out 360,000 in cash.
And what's a PPP loan?
A PPP loan is the loans for the COVID, like the relief.
Okay.
So it's businesses that are going under that need to pay their employees.
Oh, these are all these ones that are getting $120K.
Yeah, they're getting
and they're not going under.
No, well, they're getting it. They're not paying their employees.
No, they're going on fucking vacation, just buying shit.
Right. So obviously, Lugo talked to all of his friends and family, people that have had existing businesses, and they applied 70 different times from his home computer,
Wow,
home IP address, for this money, and obviously got a bunch of it. And I just like the whole time he was trying to contact me, I knew something was wrong. So I kept blowing him off. Like he's like, hey, where you at, bro? We'll go have lunch. I was like, I'm in Riverview. Man, I'm in Tampa. I can swing by now. Oh, I was like, I can't. I'm on my way to Orlando. Well, when are you going to be back, bro? Oh, it's not going to be till late. I was just like, I don't want to be.
How many times did you say he tried to contact you?
I think I spoke 3 or 4 times he called me.
But how many times did he call overall? Like
3 or 4 times.
Oh, I thought that maybe he called more that you just didn't answer.
There's only a few times that he called. There's 2 or 3 times that he called and I didn't answer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I was trying to be rude. I just felt like,
You
how
had
you have
the
that
instinct.
intuition?
Oh, yeah.
And I just was like,
You always know. You always
Something's
know when
wrong.
something's wrong. You know, it's just a matter of do you pay attention to it or not.
right. Do you run with it? Do you think you're okay? Do you
Right.
think, oh, it's what could it be?
And then a lot of times when you have that feeling, it doesn't happen right away. And you're like, this is just a bullshit feeling. And then little do you know, 6 months, a year later, that feeling that you had a year ago ends up
Catches up
turning
with
into,
you.
it catches up with you. And you're like, fuck, I should have listened to myself.
Well, I don't know. Look,
What's his name? Hugo Long?
no, Julio Lugo.
Julio Lugo.
Lugo.
He's got so many stories with this guy.
Sounds like a baseball player.
Yeah. So
There is a baseball player by the name of Julio Lugo. It's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't mention that when in the indictment or the U.S. press release where they talked about arresting him, or the multiple news programs
Guy's
or articles.
crazy. You were showing me the article before we came on. This guy's got cash laying all over the table, putting it on Facebook.
Yeah,
And
got it
Instagram.
himself surrounded. Got videos of him throwing parties where they had a Louis Vuitton cake.
Yeah.
It was made up of Louis Vuitton, and they're all like, he's all
A
like,
Louis Vuitton cake?
yeah, it's on Facebook.
I like Louis Vuitton.
I would
I don't want a
show-
Louis Vuitton cake.
Well, it looks pretty,
Yeah.
and I would show it to you, but I'm not allowed to use my phone on the podcast.
Rob can pull it up.
Yep. Well, it's Facebook. The name of his. By the way, he didn't use his name. He used the name Ricky Williams. No, Richard Williams.
Richard Williams.
Right. That's his alias.
I don't know if we'll be able to find that. There'll be a million Richard Williams.
Yeah, while he's playing around, we'll just talk about whatever. No. He might have pulled it down. I
No,
wouldn't pull it down
the
if I was him.
feds are going to keep it up. They're probably tracking everybody that clicks on it. No, I'm just joking. I mean, they got him.
Where was he? Was he in Florida?
Yeah, he was in. Well, I think he's in Lake. No, that's not him. He's a black guy. What are you doing?
Well, probably be easier just to Google his name.
Was it Richard?
Any of them him? If not, to hell with it. There lives in Miami, Florida. That
No,
one down
that's
there.
not him.
No. Turn your phone on. Fuck it.
All right, let's find this guy. We have to cut this part out, and then
Is he a floor technician?
he is not. He may be a orderly when he gets the 10 years that he's going to get.
Orderly is sweeping the floor, by the way.
So
I mean, that's such a common name. So, I mean, it's not even worth it to even look for it.
Smith.
Yeah. Now we'll find it. I let him put it on the phone, which I probably shouldn't have done because he'll never get out of it. I'll be having an interview with you, Rob.
Yeah, it's gonna be me and Tommy talking. Matt, have you found it yet?
hold on.
He had it up earlier.
Should we pull up his Instagram page while we're on here?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go through that. That's his Inside True Crime. Yeah, that's some fucking
Look
crazy.
at that painting. That's cool.
That's what I was telling him.
Yeah, I like this.
I mean, he can paint just as good as anybody else.
That is. Oh, that's nuts.
Don't worry
They might
about
have
it.
pulled it. Maybe they
There's
pulled it.
Boziak.
Boziak, yeah.
Hey, don't worry about it, Matt.
They probably pulled it down.
There's Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, right there, yeah.
That is crazy.
These are wild. Now we're going through your Instagram page while you're searching there.
Yeah, forget about him.
Nice.
Forget about that guy. Whatever, he's done anyway.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah. Well, he shouldn't have put it on Facebook, you know? Should have been more, he should have
mean,
done that when
shouldn't
he
have-
was done, maybe do something, right? Yeah. So go back to the top, and this is Cox Pop Art. This is him painting. He's as good as any painter I've ever seen. I see that he's doing it more often now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got a bunch of time-lapse videos.
Yeah, this is cool to watch. How he does it from beginning to end.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I did 2 of those. It was this guy, and he wanted to, his wife apparently loves Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. Like she's like loves horror programs, and that's her favorite character. And so they wanted me to paint a pop art Jason Voorhees. So I came up with something, and she also loves Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty.
So I did Hello Kitty skulls and crossbones, and did a Jason Voorhees behind.
Now you're blasting through this, but how long does this actually take you?
10 to 20 hours.
10 to 20 fucking hours?
And you can't do it like in a row. Like it's not like this. Like this is I've had guys who think, "Oh, you do it in like a day?" I'm like, "Bro, every couple of seconds I got a different shirt on. I'm wearing black shirts, white shirts, red shirts, green
Is that
shirts."
oil-based paint?
No, it's acrylic.
Okay.
So when you do that, so what you do, like a little bit, maybe like an hour or two?
Yeah, I'll do
and
paint
then
for a couple hours or an
take a
hour.
break.
Take a
Yeah.
break, do something else, come back the next day or whatever.
And this is his Bubblegum Girl collection. These are pretty cool.
I like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a time lapse of that one too. I got
Where's that one?
I just scrolled
it's
down.
right there on to the left. Yeah, that's it.
And this is your Bubblegum Girl, right?
Yeah, this is like a 1-minute video on.
Yeah, play it. So you take just an actual picture like that, and you look at it, and you're able to do that freehand.
Well, this one's actually a modified screen print. So I'm painting it in, and then I do a screen print over it. It gives it like a pixelated look, which is really cool. But I basically paint the entire painting, and then I do a screen print over it, which gives it a super cool look. Uh-oh. You want me to turn that back off?
Well, if it didn't do it, it just wouldn't be you here. It just wouldn't be
I
you
mean,
if
it
it didn't
doesn't
go off
matter.
a few times.
So I've sold a ton of these things. Not a ton, whatever. I sold like 15 or 16 of them. I have a few more orders I need to fill. Great. That's it.
You got a guy here that wants it shipped to the UK.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I shipped that one.
Did it get there?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it did. It should have.
Who's
It's like
that?
$100 to. That guy bought a couple of paintings.
What did he buy? The Joker?
I love that.
He
Joker one.
bought the a Joker. I've done like 3 or 4. I've done like 4 Jokers.
Do the Joker face, Matt.
Uh,
Matt, do the Joker face. You have to.
I've got that one right there. That one's cool right there. No, down. That one right there.
Yeah, who is that?
No, not that one.
But I'm asking you, who is that? That's Warren Buffett at like a younger age?
No, these are just pictures. No, I'm talking about the Marilyn Monroe right
But
there.
I'm talking about the middle one. Who is that?
Oh, I don't know why it did it like that. Well, no, I had a guy that owns a brokerage business that wanted 3 paintings, 3 pieces, and he wanted businessmen because I want businessmen in a cityscape, and I want these 3 quotes, and he gave me 3 quotes to put in the paintings.
So just general businessmen, not anybody particular.
No, nobody like models really. I just went and found some models, and then I played with the photos and came up with the design, and he approved it.
Man,
And
you're
that was
good.
it.
You're good, man.
A lot of layering, right? I guess.
Oh yeah, lots of layers. Like this is these are great. Like these are Marilyn Monroe. People love Marilyn Monroe.
Now, while we're watching you do this awesome shit, which it is awesome because you're doing this by hand, and
Yeah, these
I
are.
mean, they're perfect. They're as good as anybody. Now, and I'm not breaking your balls, but being dyslexic, when you look at that, does that mess with you at all?
no,
No, it's just
no.
when you read,
It's just.
which is
reading.
crazy that you're a screenwriter and wrote fucking War Dogs and you can't even read the right way. What do you have to read it backwards?
No.
Hey, you got me a few
It's
times
just
already.
it's just difficult. It's just difficult.
So when you
It's very
look at
difficult
so
for me.
look when you're reading something, how does the dyslexia fuck with you?
Okay, dyslexia has you. It's basically an over processing of symbols. So what ends up happening is instead of me seeing the word building, I see like your brain automatically converts building into a symbol. Immediately that's building. I see it as B-U-I. Like I have to every time I'm reading, I'm basically sounding it out. If it's got more than 2 or 3, if it's got more like 3 letters, I'm sounding out. So if you watch me, if you hear me read, I mean, and this is like my whole life. People are like they'll hear me read. I remember one time being at my birthday party, and I was married at the time. My father-in-law had given me a card, and I looked at it and I read it and I was like, okay, and I put it down. And he goes, read it out loud, read it. And I thought, oh man. And I was like, so I opened it up and I started reading it. And when I was reading it, he goes, quit playing around, man. Come on, read it, because I'm going through it slowly and reading it.
Yeah.
I'm reading it, but it's stuttered and it's slow and it's methodical, and I don't read it like smoothly.
Right.
So I'm reading it out, and I remember my ex-wife, my wife at the time, she was like, Daddy, and he's like, no, not yet. Why are you playing around? Why are you playing around? And it was just, and she was like, she turned around and just was like, hey,
calm down.
yeah. That's how he reads.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? She goes, he's dyslexic. He has a learning disability. He's like, oh, but I own a mortgage company, so I'm driving a nice car. We're making tons of money. So people think they don't associate that you have a problem. They think you got the life by the balls and everything's good. And no, I mean, I got some issues.
Right.
I'm dealing with it.
Everybody's got issues.
Right.
Which probably will get fixed before you're dead. With Elon Musk and his no, really.
I mean,
the net thing and
Great, just in time.
and stem cells. Well,
Listen, I'm at the end of my rope now.
You'll be fucking 80 and now you can fucking
50,
read.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'll be reading all day long. You'll be walking around. I mean, we know you could talk for 30 hours.
Thank God they fixed
Jesus
this
Christ, when you
thing.
read, this fucking guy will be walking around talking and reading out loud. Jesus, I'll need a muzzle for you.
Oh boy.
We got to get muzzles in bulk, Matt.
I don't think I. Oh, I did do a time.
That
lapse
one's
of
badass.
I did a time lapse of this.
Whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stronger.
No, stranger.
Stranger. Well,
You don't. I know you can't see it. You
now,
can't see it.
yeah. Elvis one's awesome. That's one other thing.
My favorite is the one with the. My favorite is the one with the the big wheel.
Who is that? Bronze Bomber. Who is that?
Is that Floyd? I don't know who.
I
that is.
thought at first it was Floyd, but I don't think.
I don't know. Some guy gave me some money to paint it. I like the big wheel kid.
Yeah,
the
with the fucking
atomic-
AK on it.
the atomic bomb in the background.
So how long have you been painting for like this?
I'm painting like for like let's see, is it about 2 years now since I got out of prison. It hasn't in July. It'll be 2 years.
So now, who's on the right there?
Arnold.
That's
That's
Arnold.
Arnold.
And then on the left.
Benjamin Franklin, doing the West Coast.
Wow.
That's what I was told to draw.
Hey,
I was told to paint.
what they want, they get. And now this is the Inside True Crime Instagram. Whose podcast is that Value Entertainment?
Yeah, that's Value Tainment.
I don't think I can't play that, right?
Are you why?
They give you a strike. If you play YouTube while you're like, say right now we play your YouTube, they'll strike it and go ahead, kill me. The word monitor.
What? Oh, they'll demonetize. Demonetize.
They don't demonetize it.
Oh,
If I play 1 second of your video, any income from your video with me and you, even if it's 1 second, it all goes to you. So it's not. It's not a strike. They'll post it, but all the money goes to you. 1 second of your video.
Matt's gonna want me to play that video, aren't you, Matt?
yeah. Play that video.
And say
Play my video.
Say
Play one of my videos.
Say it makes $5, right?
Right.
That $5 goes over to you. 1 second goes to you. At least they warn you and tell you to blade it out or whatever. But there you got Boziak when he doesn't even look like that anymore.
No, he's a maniac.
Yeah.
No. This is by far your most fucked up idea ever. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Yeah, this is just the true crime stuff.
Now you weren't posting much, right?
No, I've been posting lately. I've been posting a bunch of stuff because, now I'm starting to get into it.
And there's the book right there on Matt, which should be a movie. Well, I'm sure it will be a movie in due time.
Working on it.
Are you in any talks?
Not on my story, just on the other stories that I've written.
Are you eventually gonna try to?
It's at some point once I get my story off the ground. I mean, once I get the other stories off the ground,
Yeah.
like once I've got other things being developed. But right now, my fear is if I work on doing my story and it gets made, then it shuts everything down. Like you can't. Jordan Belfort actually came in and tried to be a producer. Like he was pitching different series that he wanted to do that were all based on like, fraud and excess and cons and stuff.
Jordan Belfort is Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah. So he would, and basically, as soon as he walks in the room, everybody's like, oh wow, you're the Wolf of Wall Street. You're the Wolf. So when he's pitching an idea, they're not focusing on the idea. They're thinking Wolf of Wall Street. Oh wow, who? It's like it overpowers it. It's like like watching,
So I understand what you're saying in so many words is and this is true. It's just the way it is. It's just the facts. If you push your book, you're gonna put a shadow and a cloud on the other books that you've written that you're promoting and pushing and trying to. It's just facts.
It's just the way it is. It's like it's like these. You get pigeonholed. You get typecast.
Yeah.
Where nobody can see you as anything other than this persona. And like, did you ever see Saved by the Bell?
Yeah.
Right. Like you're never gonna see
Skeeter or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. What's that kid's name?
Screech died.
Screech.
He died.
He overdosed.
He overdosed. Yeah.
I mean, like you're never gonna see Screech as anything but Screech. You're never gonna see. What was the guy? Encino Man. What was Encino Man?
Steve Urkel. That's all I see is Urkel.
Yeah. Whenever you see Steve, that's another one.
What about Encino Man? What was the guy in Encino Man?
But
Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore.
You're never going to see Pauly Shore. He can't. Even if he was an amazing actor, which he's not. But if he was, you could never put him in anything
like a romantic movie.
Yeah,
or like
legitimate.
James Bond.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
people will laugh at him.
Yeah, time doesn't matter how amazing he is.
Yeah, so your reasoning is very
right. So
thought out and smart. So
they're never going to take
these other
serious.
ones, and then you get done with what you're doing, and then bang.
Right, and then by then I've learned how to do the process.
Right.
By going through these, any mistakes I make, I'll make on your story.
Right.
Or his story or that guy's story.
Yeah, I would do the same thing.
Right.
And then when you go to do yours,
now I know.
Bypass all the bullshit.
Not signing that again.
Yeah. We've already went through that one.
18 months. You crazy?
Who plays Matt Cox? Who's going to play you?
Yeah. Who would you cast?
I won't accept anybody taller than 5'6".
So who would Colin Farrell?
He's too tall. He'd have to stand in a hole the whole time.
What about Colin Farrell? He's not tall.
Colin Farrell's got to be like 6 foot tall at least.
No, he was going to play Joey. He was going to play Joey Molino in the movie.
What about Matthew McConaughey?
Nah, he's fucking tall.
It doesn't. Colin Farrell. Let's find out how tall.
We have
he is.
we don't need to get on the phone, Matt. We have a computer right there.
Okay, how Colin Farrell? I bet he's at least 5'10".
No, he might be 5'10", but he's not
5'10". I'm 5'6".
I don't even think he's 5. Okay,
he's
5.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but they can make him look.
5'10".
They can make Well, Joe's 5'6".
Well, look at Belfort's like 5'5", and they had him.
DiCaprio
6'2". What's
he's
DiCaprio?
tall.
6'2".
He's at least 6 foot. Yeah, I think he's probably 6'2".
6 foot.
6 foot.
Oh,
Well,
with a good pair of heels, he's 6'2".
Yeah. But who would you pick to play?
I don't know. You know what's
Johnny Depp would be cool. He could play. I mean, that would be
Johnny
awesome.
Depp's
To get
a maniac, and he's old. I was in my.
Yeah, but you're a maniac.
I was in my late 20s, early 30s when a lot of this happens. So you need a guy that's in his early 30s because then he can play me prior getting started, and he can play me when I'm up to 36, 37 because you can in your early 30s you can span that gap.
But they also now.
Oh, nice.
But they can.
Nice.
There you go. That could be his guy right there. That's perfect for you.
What is the guy from Lord of the Rings?
Oh, they're really long.
Oh, I used to get that all the time.
Oh boy.
That guy?
No, not Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry.
You're thinking the little fucker.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah. He could play you though, Matt. He's skinnier than you, and he definitely, I mean.
Come on, don't.
When you see the real Matt, you have panties dropping everywhere.
There he is, the little tiny guy right there. No, down. Right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, remember he was in the other. Oh yeah. All right. Okay, so that's who's gonna play you. What's his fucking name? Who cares what his name is?
So mean.
There you go. You can play him. Well, you're taller than him and better looking than him. It's a win.
I'm not playing him. He's playing me. You want him to be a little taller, him a little better looking. They don't have
because you got the good story. So then when they go to the real person, they're like, "Damn, this Matt Cox is a good-looking motherfucker. He looks like he's 26."
Oh my God! All right, what are we
Black?
doing?
You could have Tom Cruise play
Jack
it.
Black. Wow, that's
There you go. I mean, Billy Crystal.
why are you picking these guys who are like 60, 70 years old?
Yeah,
Like,
but Billy Crystal
who's an
looks young.
upcoming actor? What about an upcoming? Who was the guy that was in Split?
I don't know.
The English guy. He was also in Wanted.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart could play.
Play Whiteface.
Yeah.
He could do it in Whiteface.
He could pull a Sammy Sosa. Have you seen him?
No.
He's changed his.
Look how short. Look how tall she is.
Yeah, she is tall. Well, he's what did I say it was 5'7"?
5'6". Oh, 5'7". 5'7".
Yeah. There you go. So Tom Cruise plays.
He's too old. He's in his late 50s.
Nah, but
Look
no.
at the guy.
First off, he hasn't aged in. He looks the same now as he did in the one.
It's
when he was
because of
jumping on-
Dianetics. It's because of
Would you rather Billy Crystal?
Dianetics. It's the
science bullshit.
Scientology.
No, it's called a ton of Botox, plastic surgery, and
No,
filler.
they just-
There's a younger guy,
And
Jesse
HGH.
Eisenberg.
Absolutely not. Are you serious?
Why?
How
He's
can you
5'7".
How you possibly think that he looks anything like me?
I mean, if your curls are a little curlier.
But they got computers now.
I don't care.
They can change it. They did it in.
What about him? He's good. I'll go with him.
Dave Franco.
Dave Franco.
He gets,
Hey,
he gets a lot of.
Dave,
bitches.
give Matt Cox a call.
He's got some serious fucking eyebrows though.
I mean, we can trim the eyebrows.
All right. So Dave Franco, it is. That's who it's going to be. You're Dave Franco in your book. All right. So that
Dave Franco's me. How are you getting this confused?
Dave Franco is
Playing me
playing you
in the book.
based on your
Based
book.
on my. Thank you.
Hey, did you ever think about posting the manifest or synopsis or whatever of War Dogs? Like
No,
Yeah.
bro. Were you trying to get me sued?
I don't fucking
Trying
know.
to get me sued.
I can't write a book if you put a gun to my head. So
Yeah, but you're going to get me sued. I can't be.
you could get sued
post-
because you put your own script up.
My own. I don't know if I could, but I feel like I could. We gotta do this. We gotta get me.
No.
We gotta get me.
No clue what he could possibly be doing right now.
Okay, so we gotta get.
Instagram live video. What's he doing? Huh?
Who knows?
We could do the.
It could be anything.
We could do. Look, so there's Tommy.
Hello.
There's Tommy. So this is. I can put this on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
But you're saying
Go ahead. Do whatever you want.
I'm gonna do it, and then we'll put it on my YouTube because we're live on YouTube. We'll put it on my YouTube, and you get the monetization from my channel. Listen, none of my videos make any money, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So
I don't care what you
Ben
do.
Stiller as Matt. He looks more like Ben Stiller.
There you go. Ben Stiller.
that's our discussion right now. We're gonna slide this over here.
So Ben Stiller is going to play Matt
Stiller is Matt Cox.
in his book, Sharking the Housing Pool.
This is how I.
You know,
should
Ben
do-
Stiller just did this crazy thing on National Geographic. He went and he hiked with this guy and almost killed his ass. Did you see that?
No.
He went with this crazy guy on National Geographic that goes all over the place, like mountains, like fucking crazy mountains and rocks and climbing on the edge of you slip, you're done for.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure with Ben Stiller, there was nets down there that you just can't see on the
No, they
ground.
probably had a wire and a helicopter hovering
like a clear
above it.
fucking wire, right, coming down. But he was shitting himself doing it. It was pretty good. All right, so we'll switch to Ben Stiller.
Ben
Fisher.
Stiller is gonna play me
Yeah,
in Shark in the Housing Pool.
yeah, we'll give him a call
I
tomorrow.
like it. I like it.
We'll give him a call
He's
tomorrow.
too old.
Why is he too old?
Because I was in my
How many
early
times I got to
30s.
tell you this? How many times I got to tell
You're
you?
gonna say computers and Botox.
Yeah, no.
All right.
No, you don't
Right.
even fucking need the Botox
This is
because they have the computers that can make you look younger.
This is actually not a bad setup. Like if you had the camera like right here, you could do a whole podcast just like if we were sitting closer together.
Yeah.
That's how I could do a whole instead of doing switching from camera to camera and spending $100,000 on editing and all this stuff. This guy, we can lose him. Let's get rid of. We got to get rid of this guy.
Okay.
He's the problem.
Matt's
All
getting me
right.
out of here.
Well, I've changed this quite a few times. And listen to these stupid
Every
ideas
time
that
I
you just
come-
gave me. And
What are you talking about?
That's a dumb idea.
Every single idea I've given you has improved your Joe Rogan.
Okay.
Your badly done counterfeit Joe Rogan.
Really?
The Joe
Okay.
Rogan's not even Joe Rogan.
Okay,
He
now-
keeps switching.
Now,
How many times? How many setups can?
Three,
Even
four.
3 or
Yeah.
4. He's working on
Okay,
another one now.
it's already changed.
That happens.
But now you told me to make it dark. Really, Matt? You
Bro, how many more lights can you get in here? Look at this place. It's ridiculous. Jack Black.
because
Are
I
you
don't want to
saying
be in the
Jack
fucking
Black?
dark.
How am I going to be Jack Black?
Now-
Bro,
now-
look at me.
He's lost a lot of weight.
You know
Jack
what?
Black.
Now I want him to be Jack Black.
Jack Black. Hey,
No, you know who he could be is the fucking who's some big ugly dirty motherfucker.
They want Jack Black to play me in Shark in the Housing Pool, which
Well-
is my movie that's not being made. There's no movie being
Well,
made.
Jonathan
call-
Taylor Thomas.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. They could age him. I'd rather they age someone than get somebody old and try and make them look younger. Because whenever they do that, it's absolutely horrible.
All right. What about Elijah?
Horrible. No.
You're better looking than him.
I mean, he's...
You can't win with you. First I try to throw Johnny Depp at you. He's crazy. Okay, well,
Johnny Depp's like in his late 50s.
it doesn't matter. Don't you understand what computers can do? Do you not understand? What was the last Rob? What was the last movie that De Niro came out with all of them? It was all.
Oh,
of
yeah,
them.
yeah. He,
It was
the,
for-
the,
it was
the
forever
Irishman.
long. The Irishman. They
He
made
looked-
them look younger by computers.
They didn't, and he still looked old. You know what he looked like? He looked like somebody that was old that they tried to make him look younger.
Okay,
with
but
computers.
by the time you actually come out with your movie, they'll
So
be
you
able
want
to
to
do it.
spend $500,000 on computer animation? I don't think so. I think you just get a guy
It's not
who's
up to
in his 30s, in his early 30s. Look how chunky what's his name got? Emilio Estevez. He used to have a career. What
I
happened
think
to
he's
him?
been drinking a lot.
What's he doing now?
Been boozing.
Well, his brother, one of his brothers, Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, look at this.
That might
Look
be
at this
why.
guy.
Who the fuck is that?
He was in
Who?
I don't know if this is him. Is this him? Johnny Galecki. This guy.
I don't know.
And I've seen him.
Yeah, I don't remember what show.
Yeah.
The Big Bang Theory. There you go.
Oh yeah, my girlfriend loves the Big Bang Theory.
People love that fucking
Yeah,
show.
it's a pretty funny show. I was watching it last night.
Is it funny? I never watched the whole episode.
It is funny. It's the problem is that it's kind of like it's like intellectual kind of smart humor, so you wouldn't get a lot of it. But I enjoy it.
Yeah. Now, did you like the one with I call it the ball breaking, Matt? I call it that. There's nothing in your teeth. You don't have to keep looking.
I was smiling at myself because this is running. We're up almost to 5 minutes.
Oh my God!
It's great. This is content.
So we're almost at about the time the amount that you do your videos. What are they? 7 minutes? 15 minutes?
well, listen, I don't have
because
a
you-
stockpile of funds to pay people.
You just film yourself getting a cup of coffee. And
Right.
like
Exactly.
that.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that.
as long as it tastes good, I guess it's all right.
Listen, I'm building a fan base.
But really, Matt, on that painting thing, you could really go to the next level.
I'm working on
trying
it.
to-
I'm working on it.
If I could find I want to show you this painter that, like I said, he's extremely good, but you're just as good. And 75, 150K a clip
That's
on
nuts.
paintings, and he's just as good. I mean, no doubt about it.
Yeah, we definitely have to pull him up.
Yeah, I'll find him.
There's a guy, Jason Skelding in Tampa. He's actually pretty good too. I
Yeah,
mean, he's super good.
This
Really,
is
He's very.
I'll turn this on quick just to pull it up. David Spade. Nah, he can't play.
Are you guys? Are you? Really? It's just mean spirited.
Oh, just trying to get the movie,
We
man.
just typed in short actors and we're finding somebody to fit yours. You said 5. How tall are you? 5'10"?
5'10". I cut off my left arm to be 5'10".
5'7".
Talking about 5'6". I'm 5'7" with a good pair of shoes.
5'5" with heels.
Well, nice. All right. Plenty here.
Yeah, no, I want to show you this artist. I don't care how long it takes.
What's his name?
Yeah, Justyn Farano.
Got it.
Yep, that's him.
So you
So-
do all sports stuff, right? So
Yeah, that's him. Really cool guy, by the way. Really cool guy. So he does all these paintings. He does interviews with Griffey and all that. That's one thing. I think that's okay. But go to his shop and just, pick whatever. Football. So just pick on that. Click that Tom Brady. So you can't see it in person, but that's 15K right there.
15K right there.
And and go to their original oil painting, 120K. I mean, and you're just as good, Matt. You know what I mean? But big shout out to him.
Yeah, but he's doing oil paintings too. I do acrylic, so you can get a way better result in as far as portraits are concerned with oils.
Yeah, I mean he's
great. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's really good, and a very very nice guy too.
200 for Jordan.
Yeah.
Where's the Kobe one at?
Go back. But yeah, but again, like I was talking to him, and it took him 5 years right there. It took him 5 years not 5 years. He started in 2005, and it took him until I think 3 years ago he just started blowing up and getting huge. So, but do it, Matt.
I'm working on it.
Now, do you have a website for your paintings or just contact you? So if somebody wants a painting, just go to your Instagram or YouTube, or like how does somebody get a hold of you for that?
I have an Instagram. It's Cox Pop Art.
Yeah, just go back to that, even though we were there, just so you can see it. Play another one of him doing it real quick, that's about it. But just message him on here. That kid one's pretty cool. Play that one.
Which one? This one?
No, that's Marilyn Monroe. No, to the left. It was. Oh, I don't know. Keep going.
Up or down?
Go up. I mean, that's the video's right. That's a video. Click that one.
Now, what would this? Now, when you go to sell these, what's the average price range?
Like 800 to 1,000. As long as it's one person, like if it's a 3 foot by 4 foot painting and it's one person, that's about what it.
And if I were to go to order today, like say I want, we'll just say Joe Rogan,
Right.
And I give you the picture that I want. How long would it take for you to do it and get it at this point?
Could be 2 weeks to a month.
Delivered in 2 weeks to a month?
No, finished 2 weeks to a month.
Now,
and I'm about like I've got a ton of paintings. Like, I charge too little, but it keeps me busy. Like I'm constantly have money coming in. If I were to, I'm going to start putting stuff in galleries, but it takes time.
Yeah, yeah.
It takes time for them to sell. So you put them up, and you got to expect that it's going to sell, but it's going to be 2 to 3 months before it sells.
Right.
And you can sell it for something like these should be going between 3,000 to 5,000 easy. But you have to wait. You got to be willing to wait, 3 months.
Right.
I can't wait. If I were to paint a bunch of paintings in a month and not sell them, I don't have enough in reserves.
Now, right here, that's a different channel than your true crime. Am I right?
Right. I have a true crime channel.
Okay. Now click on that one. And now this is all of your art stuff, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that way you can just type in Cox Pop.
That's Cox Pop Art, and then you have Inside True Crime, which
will all be in the description. Right. Go back to that and subscribe to that firm. To his thing, just subscribe to it there.
Yeah.
So you got a book on the way, hopefully, because that sounds like a good book. You're still doing working with Boziak on his thing that he's got going on.
Yeah, we're waiting for that.
You got the true crime. You're back to posting again. You're back with your girlfriend. The life isn't over, and I was right that it wasn't over.
Well, you're right for now.
For now, but
she'll change her mind again.
When I walked in and I saw you, I knew that you were back together.
She's dating a guy I'm 18 years older than her.
Oh, get the fuck over that shit.
I'm an old man.
Who gives a fuck?
What is going on? My eyes are crying. It
doesn't matter.
He mentioned breaking up with my girlfriend. I started crying.
Good. Well,
it's so sad.
Well, why don't you play that out all the way instead of half of the? There.
Listen,
look at him opening a bottle of water so he could.
For what?
Do you want me to blade this for you so you look real good for the girl that when
blade
I brought
it?
that Final Cut? I can blade it, so then you could put water on your eyes.
I got something in my eye, man.
I'm trying to help you out with the fucking girl. Dude.
Oh, I don't know. Who knows what's happening with this chick? She's killing.
You know what's happening is that you two love each other and your minds are crazy.
I mean,
and this is going to go on forever. You guys aren't breaking up. You'll probably end up together forever because you're completely opposite. One guy's a nutcase, fraudster, narcissist, fucking ADHD maniac that, is on a computer and YouTube, and then and his girl had a dairy joint.
No, she doesn't work there anymore.
Oh,
now
shit.
she's a
Was she building houses?
no.
I mean, with all due respect, and I
she's-
respect it, 'cause
she's-
I can't swing a hammer.
No, she's almost finished graduating from to be a marine mechanic.
A marine mechanic.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a more technical name for it, but basically she's a marine mechanic. So, and she's working as a marine mechanic right now. So she fixes engines. That's what she does. She fixes she fixes boat engines. And oh, bro, she's tough as nails.
It's just funny because it's not like she just like could put like a cabinet together. This girl's working on engines.
Oh, you should see her. You should listen.
So you
It's
got
hilarious.
Matthew B Cox, the mortgage guy, now a phenomenal artist. I mean, phenomenal. One of the best I've ever seen. You're going to blow up on that. In 5 years, if you keep at it, you are going to be on a whole nother level with this art. You got the true crime thing that you always said you were going to do. And then you have people around you that you wrote books on, that you're selling, that's working, that you're getting people connected with big deals, some that we can't talk about. Or I don't know if I can talk about it, but I'm
Can't
not
talk
gonna
about it.
want to talk. I didn't say anything.
But
I didn't
listen,
say anything.
at some point, I'm going to come out and it's going to be like, nice,
Bang.
right. Like I thought 5 years ago, I'm laying in my bunk thinking about trying to pull this off, and then
now
I pull it
happens.
off.
Right. 5 years.
That's an amazing story.
I say 5 years it happens if you keep at it.
I got to wait 5 years.
I think to get to
I was thinking a year from now. I'm back here in a year from now, and I got a couple things going.
I'm not saying you want to have a couple things going. I'm saying to where you pop 3 to 5 years to where you're popping.
I can wait.
Yeah.
I was supposed to get out of prison in 2030. I got time. I can goof around for the next. I can goof around until 2030. I'm still ahead of the game.
As long as you keep the dedication to that art, that's what's gonna. I think that's what's gonna be the thing, and then you'll probably just do the true crime and whatever for fun or for play money, because the art will be the one where you're selling that Pacino up there for $75K. That will be your money, and then
Actually, it's a good chicken Pacino, right?
that is a good Pacino. That is good.
Yeah, I painted that for a lawyer.
Yeah, I would go to that.
Matter of fact, everything up there went to lawyers.
Really?
Yeah, these two on the side. So the Maryland and the Elvis went to a lawyer, and the one in the middle went to a lawyer. I think those are the only lawyer. Like I don't know.
I think that Elvis one is probably the best one you did, in my opinion. And that blue bubble gum girl, which I didn't see it on your Instagram yet.
It's on there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Before we get done with it, pull up his Instagram again, because did you sell the bubble gum girl?
I've sold 16 of them.
Okay, so
Because that's one that I did a modified screen print of.
Yeah, but where's the blue one at though?
Oh no, I didn't put that one.
Okay,
up.
so for the people watching, he has this in blue.
Oh, I have it in blue, yellow.
I'll get him to post the different colors up.
Green.
Yeah.
Magenta.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that one and the Elvis are the coolest ones, and the Pacino now, and the business guys are good.
Oh,
too.
see this guy here? See the guy with the angry baby? That guy?
Yeah.
That guy's name is Robert Smith. Robert Smith is a maniac. Like he's wants me to do the bubblegum girl. He wants me to do it 3 foot by 4 foot. He's like, I'll send you $900 right now. I'll pay. I'm like, man, it's gonna be like $300 to ship it. I'll pay for shipping right now. And I'm like, bro, it's like a month away. I'll pay more money now. I'm like, no, you have to wait. He calls me. He works during the day. He works at night.
Yeah.
So he'll call me at 2:00 in the morning. He'll send me text messages. He'll be.
That's good though.
He's driving me nuts.
So
super nice guy. Do you see the shirt he's wearing?
It looks like Matt.
That's my shirt, and it says, "I have a fine art. I have a degree, or a fine arts degree."
That is Matt with the full blown Joker face that I make him do every time on the show.
So, right?
Do it good for the camera. Do it good.
So,
that is 100%.
It's
That is
it's
100%.
He loves that painting. He has that painting for his, your little picture.
Yeah.
That you put. What did they call
Like
it?
profile picture?
That's, He has the painning.
That's funny.
He wants me to paint another. He's got like 3 paintings he wants me to paint.
So no matter how much somebody pays you, you won't push them ahead?
I mean, look,
Well,
if he
money
came
can
and
buy
said
anything.
10 grand, money will do a
shouldn't say
lot.
that. And there's Boziak.
Oh yeah, that's
The fuck's he painting?
He's
What's up, Johnny?
he's painting.
The monkey or the duck thing.
Yeah. He sold that thing for like $300-400.
Good for him.
What's he painting with? Same acrylic?
Oh no, he's painting with acrylic. Like, unless you're doing unless you're gonna do like a portrait or something, there's no reason to use oil paints. I mean, they stink. They take days to dry. The cleaning, see this one right here on the right. This one, right? Click on that one. I love that. That's one of my favorite paintings.
This is one of your favorites?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Screamer, what I called it. Yeah, I actually painted that for myself, and then some guy came along and offered me like, I forget what he offered me, like $800 or something, and I was like, my rent was due.
And I'm sorry again. How big are these?
That's 3 foot by 4 foot. It was like 400. It was like $300 to ship it to him.
And how long this one? From the beginning to finish, how many days? I know you're doing other shit.
Couple days. Yeah. I mean, look, it's still basically
like a week, maybe.
Maybe like 10 hours, but you got to drag it out.
I mean, like if I order,
it drags out.
Okay, say you have no orders right now, right? I order right now. From now until the time it gets shipped, average, how long would you say? And I'm asking
couple weeks, 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. All right, I'm asking out of just a personal, just how long it actually takes. So you got all that going on. Anything else you want to push?
I mean, no.
You'll be back soon enough. So
these chairs, my butt hurts.
They shouldn't.
Well, they do. Do they hurt? Do they hurt your butt?
No, that's why I bought them.
Well,
actually, I just followed Joe Rogan's
of course
equipment and got
I wonder if they hurt Joe Rogan's butt. That's
maybe you need to work out more.
Joe Rogan, if you're watching this,
I do need to maybe I haven't been doing squats.
You weren't bitching last time about your ass when you were in here.
My ass was not probably as bony. Maybe it's getting bony. I could ask my girlfriend.
You've been in here 5 times.
I think it hurt last time.
No, you would. Oh no.
Probably,
you would have let me know.
Probably too polite to say anything.
No. You would have let me know, my man. You would have let me know loud and clear, just like you did now. All right, Matt. Well, the next time you're here, we will be in a much bigger studio and better off. So
we're not going to do another one of these.
No, not in here. But when you come
right
back,
now, you don't want to do another one. So I'm leaving.
We're done.
Get out.
We're done.
Nice. I'm going to interview you. I'm going to interview you on my thing.
You're a funny guy.
Why can't I interview you?
I'll think about it. We'll go over to the other where I'm moving. We'll see how much work you can help me with, and then
is that what you guys are?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go measure some things. It doesn't matter. You can hit it, punch it. I have another one in the closet if you break it. I have backup for everything because I break everything. So,
oh my God.
Buy Matt's art, Cox pop art.
Buy a book. I got everything on Audible.
You got on Audible?
Yeah, I've got like 4 books
go
on
to
Audible.
Amazon.com and Audible, and you can see all of his books because out of all the times you've been in here, I didn't even know some of the books that you wrote when I went to your website.
Yeah, there.
So The Shark, it's insanity. We have that video, and then we have a document video to back up everything that he said in the book Insanity because it is insane, and you do need to see the documents.
Yeah, it would be Matthew Cox. I don't know what that stuff is.
Because when you read it, you can't even believe that it's actually true.
It's
Matthew Cox.
B. There you go.
There you go.
The program. We got It's Insanity. The program? Oh, the program's great. It's Insanity. We've got, what else do we have? Did anything else? Oh, look at that. Bent. Once a Gun Runner showed up.
Boziak, never even heard of Once a Gun Runner.
What do you mean? We just talked about War Dogs. That's the War Dog. That's his book.
You named it. Okay.
That's his memoir.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's Boziak.
Oh, yeah, Bent. So listen to Bent. Bent, I just obtained the publishing rights to Bent.
Awesome.
Changed the cover design, and probably in a week or so, the new one will be up, and I'm going to do an Audible on Bent.
So the new one will be on Amazon?
Yeah, it'll be on Amazon, and then we're going to do then I'll do an Audible too. So it'll be on Audible and Devil Exposed, which is another book I wrote.
Yeah.
Devil Exposed is going to be on Audible too. The guy's already done it. I haven't had time to go through it and edit it, but I will.
Okay, so
So really, though, that's
big. The Audible's big.
Yeah, people love Audible.
Yeah. So his books are on Audible, and you can buy them on Amazon. Check them out; they're all good. Not one that I've read is bad. And there's, like I said, there's a bunch. I didn't even know you wrote a couple of these.
Do you do the voice, Matt?
No, I don't. But I can't read. You don't want to hear me read.
Yeah.
Like it.
I asked him that before.
It would be horrible. It really. Everybody's like, no. Well, these guys like they get excited. They don't understand.
Yeah.
Like they're like, no, but all you got to do is just look at the page and then tell us what's on the. Calm down, bro. People are reading. It's on Audible because they want someone to read what's written.
Right.
And it would take me reading that several times before I could probably get it right. And it's a 300-page book.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Right. What are you doing?
You're gonna beat yourself up trying to get through 300 pages. It's not gonna be right. You're gonna go back and hate it.
Right.
And then you're gonna end up going to the guy to do it anyway. Because remember, I asked you that because you have a good voice, and
right.
even
I
me,
can tell my story,
and I forgot of the situation. You know what I mean? Which I'm sorry to hear that, but it's obviously not affecting your, what you can do.
You know what's funny is it's funny that like this is showing the Audible, the Audible screen. See, these are the Audible covers.
Yeah.
But it's not showing the Shark of the Housing Pool Audible. I need to change my.
Well, right there, other formats, Audible, King.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's just Shark. Like I need to change my. Yes, he's good.
This is
the guy that does it. It's good.
Can we play that?
Yeah, you can play that.
Waiting for the barista to call my order at a local Starbucks in downtown Charlotte, North Carolina.
This is Sean.
That's when I noticed a male and female employee from my apartment complex, Post Gateway, picking up their lattes. I felt a twinge of embarrassment at not having paid my rent. They turned to leave, and the male employee locked eyes on me, which sparked a frantic conversation between the pair. Never a good sign. I appeared to be just another clean-cut businessman, sporting a Rolex and Dolce & Gabbana.
Dolce.
In fact, at
Dolce.
that moment,
Tell the motherfuckers
I was
Dolce &
number
Gabbana.
one on the U.S. Secret Service's most wanted fugitives list. I'd built some of America's biggest financial institutions out of millions of dollars.
Well,
Built fake online.
He does sound good. He does sound good. Yeah, it's good. So who's he doing right now? He's doing Bent right now?
No, not right now. He just finished Devil Exposed, and I have to listen to it and make any edits.
Okay.
I just haven't had time. I mean, you got to think it's 10 hours of listening.
Yeah.
You got to. When do you block that off?
And that, not to mention the.
That's Devil Exposed.
Yeah, and that's not to mention the editing or anything else that you have to do.
Yeah. Well, the book is up. Like
Yeah.
I have an abridgment and I have a full length book. The full length book isn't up, but the full length book is the one that's going to be edited. Or I'm sorry, going to be on Audible.
This should blow up eventually.
Yeah, it's funny because like it doesn't sell, like it's not selling like my book, but it's like every other day one of them selling, two selling. It's like I always think I don't advertise.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
who's buying?
You're
Like
not really
people
pushing
are.
it.
There was one time when there was a whole like suddenly there was I don't know like 15 or 20 sold within like 2 days, and I thought what? Like I wasn't doing anything. Like what happened? Like did QAnon get a hold of it or something?
Yeah.
Like somebody mentioned it on a tweet.
Yeah.
Like what happened for like a split second? It was like a little spike.
Yeah. So I mean, imagine if you had time to push these, which you will.
Oh, if
over
I had
time.
time and money to push them, it'd be great. It'd be
Yep.
great.
It's all just a matter of things. You're a very talented guy, man. Very talented guy.
I told you what happened with Facebook when I did the because the jacket cover has Robert Mueller on it.
I'm sure they got with it. You can't promote.
Like
Done.
yeah, would not let me promote. They took it down.
I can't promote either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like what do you do? Like you couldn't explain. There's nobody to write an email to. There's no. It's like nope, boom. Okay, but what if you're wrong?
Yeah.
Well, then
No,
go to
there's nobody to contact.
No.
When you're
just
done, you're done.
You're done.
Until they have a competitor, and you know who that competitor is going to be?
No.
Apple. They've already got patents out the ass for a social media platform, and if you read 9 to 5 Mac or Mac Rumors, they think 2023 it'll be ready, and it will be basically like an Apple Facebook, right? Without the censorship shit, within reason. You know, if you go in.
No, you're
you know.
talking about the KKK and lynching people.
Right.
It's going to be an issue.
Meaning where you can say, like, you could post this and it's not censored within reason. They're not tracking you. They're not doing this. and it's a unbelievable marketing move by Apple because their ecosystem's so huge. All of this is going on now. So as the phone market starts to die down, because it's kind of the same phone every year, it's a little bit better. But
Well, I mean, how much more can you do?
yeah, I mean, you're going to make it thinner, you're going to make the chip faster, but it's coming to kind of like this is where we're at. The next level is going to be like a hologram phone, right? So now they come out and they hit the social media platform. Well, everybody's bitching about Facebook and everything else. So now Apple comes out. They already have their ecosystem.
Right.
So now what does that do? That pushes the people that aren't with Apple to Apple and grows their ecosystem even more. And anybody in their ecosystem is obviously going to go on it. And I'm sure they'll make it like you have to have like an iCloud to be able to sign up for that social media platform.
You have hologram Matt coming at your phone.
Of
Yeah.
course they will.
You know what I mean?
Tommy has a huge prediction. He's talking all about Apple and stuff, and
No,
and
it's
gonna be. I'm ready. I'm ready to sign up. I'm signing up. I wanted to because Facebook won't let me advertise my stuff.
Just
They
go-
shut me down. They shut him down.
Just go read.
Facebook done.
Mac Rumors in 9 to 5. Just go through the thing. And you'll see that there's a bunch of patents that they put out, but they put a million patents out every day. But they'd be crazy not to do it. And now that ecosystem blows up beyond belief.
I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
And if you're Apple, you have to have an iCloud.
Yeah.
You know,
Gonna- Billions.
and then they rock the house. You know.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
So get Matt's books or Audibles on Amazon or Audible. Get his paintings. You can hit him up on Pop Art, or what do you have? Cox Pop Art.
Yeah. It's
on Instagram?
Cox Pop Art.
Yeah, and then you got your True Crime, and everything will be in the description. And thank you again for coming in, Matt. And next time when you're here, we'll be in a bigger studio, and you can't bitch. You have less to bitch about.
I feel like I'm not bitching at all.
You've done very well today.
Yeah, he was good. You were
That-
on point today.
You know why? Because he got his girl back. He got the girl back. He got see what pussy can do to you.
Does she cook for you?
She does cook, so she'll cook like a little. I mean, she doesn't really come over. She works all the time and she's at school all the time. She the problem is
Matt, the microphone's like right there.
she can't break up with me because she doesn't have time to break up with me. The moment she gets a little bit of time on her hands, she's be like, "I'm cutting this dude loose."
Just look at it as quarterly taxes. Quarterly taxes.
Quarterly taxes. All right, we're done. We're wrapping this up.
Quarterly taxes. Fucking breakup, right? But see, look, he's got the oomph. He's got the oomph in his step because he got the pussy and the girl back. He's got the oomph in his step. He's two-stepping all the way right
You
now.
were on point.
I've never seen him this calm and
I remember the one Tommy had me cut the one before we had this whole system. Remember?
yeah.
Cut the clips, and I said to Tommy, I said, "Holy fuck!" But Matt was on point.
He got his girl back and he's getting
Bang.
pussy again. This will last. Don't worry. By the time he's back in, when we have everything moved,
It'll
maybe
be
in a
nice.
month, he'll be back to. I still love the motherfucker though, and he's a beast, a very talented guy, and he's always been very nice to me, and I appreciate it. So thank you again, Matt. All right, Joker.
All right.
All right.
Oh my god.
You'll be back as soon as we get everything moved. Thank you very much.
All right. See ya.